John Lee, do you want to say anything about being repeatedly kicked out of rooms? How does it make you feel?
That doesn't really bother me that much.
That's a lie.
Well, really? You think it bothers me?
Last time I kicked you down, because you were over talking, you had big beef with me, and you made a huge stink about it for like 3 days. And then the other day, you kicked me down because you weren't you weren't mudding the room properly, and you were being a little bitch towards Matt Esther, no matter how much of a dick he was being.
Okay. I mean, I don't know about being upset with you for being kicked down, but
Are you serious?
Yeah, I'm serious. You can ask anybody if I'm upset.
Yeah, ask Katie. Ask
yeah, is she here?
I don't know. Is she? Hey, Haiti. Nope, she's not. But when she comes, I'm sure she will.
All right.
Ask her.
Sure.
The thing is, it didn't bother me. It just bothers me when people are hypocrites. So if you bitch about getting kicked down, don't kick other people down. Like, stay true to your word. That's all.
I think I was upset one time ever being kicked down. It was by Sean H. Because it was my room. I was mod. I didn't even speak for like 3 hours. I was on stage, and then I spoke up like 5 seconds, and then he just kicked me out of the entire room. So yeah, I was mad then. But other than that, that's like literally the only time.
Yeah, no, it's a lie.
John Lee, why is it that this is just an observation? It seems like Jane pisses you off more than anybody else.
Oh yeah, okay. That I can say that. Yeah, I mean, I just happen to think that every time she says this, okay, like John said this. Every time she said John said, and then whatever comes after her mouth is like literally not correct. And so after like about the 50, 60, 70th time, I get I'm starting to snap back a little bit. It's getting to me.
I don't other people do the same thing? Don't other people do the same thing?
That's probably correct. I mean, but I don't know what it is. I mean, I genuinely don't know, because you're correct, Gigi, that other people do it, but I mean, I wouldn't necessarily say it's the lie itself, of course, but
it's because she's a woman.
John's
a sexist.
Well, that's what was speculated early, by her actually. I don't think that's the case either, but that's a good guess, Rascal. I don't think it's that.
I have about 10 minutes. Can I quickly call out Gavin before I have to go?
Sure.
Gavin, why are you such a power trip? What makes you feel so big about trying to act like a big man on Clubhouse?
I don't think I do. Not that I'm aware of, anyway.
Well, the thing is, you always call out people, and you always interrupt people. You always take control of the conversation.
No, he doesn't.
And when you're a mod and it doesn't go your way, you kick people down because you're wrong and you cannot restate anything that's being said. So you get upset, you call them down, and you call them names. That's a bit of a power trip to me, isn't it?
It would be if those things were true, yeah.
Gavin, you're dumber than an enlightened one. You're the dumbest theist on here, man. I'm sorry, but you are.
No, that belongs to... I wouldn't agree with that. I think Gavin's got a lot of useful information that he shares.
Yeah, who cares what you think about him, man?
No, Gavin doesn't contradict himself 140 times.
There's something I wanted to say about something else besides Gavin. It's probably going to piss people off because I'm really going against the grain with this one. But I didn't think that what John Lee said to Jeff's wife was that called for that much outrage. And I heard that Seth
I actually agree
said that. Yeah, and I think people were just afraid to say it because like everybody was jumping on board with it. But
what did he say?
I heard
Can you tell me? I don't know what he said.
Say?
I wasn't. I wasn't. I better somebody else answer that question, but because I'm not certain what was said. But
basically what was.
But let me just say one other thing. I heard that Seth told John Lee to go fuck his fat ugly wife, which is like 10 times worse than what John Lee said.
That was Sean.
It was Sean.
Sean, that's what I meant. Go fuck his fat ugly wife, which is like 10 times worse than what John Lee said to Jeff's wife. And so imagine the outrage if it had been of the community, if that had been John Lee that said that.
Well, you know? How about this one, Godless? In that particular room with Jeff and Francis Michelle, Daniel said that my wife's tits were saggy, and I found it interesting that Francis had a good chuckle with that. What do you think about that?
Are they saggy?
No, they're not,
I'm kind of giggling right
Good for you, man.
So what did John say about Jeff's wife?
Oh, you want to know? Well,
I'll
go ahead.
For you, John. Basically,
well, I was going to read the actual message, but go ahead.
Okay, go ahead. Let John read the actual.
Can you just PTR it?
It's not long. It'll just take him a second.
But I agree with Godless Girl. I kind of think that they actually made a bigger deal out of it than what it was, because she was basically saying that John was turning people away from Christianity, and she'd kind of implied the same thing before in the past to us in another group without coming out and saying it, but this time she just comes out and says it to John. I think she actually said it to Johnny Hoss as well, and John just posed a hypothetical saying perhaps you've turned your husband away from Christianity, and then that's where the shit hit the fan. But it seemed to be okay for her to accuse John of that. So I'm like you, Gigi. I thought there was some inconsistency there.
Does she participate in Clubhouse?
Not really.
Little bit lately. Her and Jeff have been making rooms about something like a tea in the backyard or something, iced tea. I don't know.
But like,
they've been making rooms together.
They make a room. Lady.
It's the backyard patio.
Yeah, she's
something like that.
A very sweet older church lady who is not a debate online person.
But she was the one who initiated the messages to John in the back channel. It's not like John
because she genuinely feels like he's leading people away from Christ and is upset about it. Because she's a middle-aged church lady.
No, I'm not saying that she can't genuinely feel that way. What I'm saying is that when you're online, you make comments to people and about people. You can't assume that somebody's not going to respond to you. And so he can't get upset that John responded to his wife. It was something she went to his back channels. It's one of those things that
in public also. But the difference, I think, is that she genuinely felt that way, but John didn't. He doesn't believe what he said. He just said it to hurt her. He was being
it was a rhetorical tool.
All right, John, read it.
You're rhetorical.
Anyway, I mean, definitely a rhetorical tool. But
else talk.
Yeah. So she wrote, "You're turning people away from Christianity." That's what she sent me. This is on June the 8th, so it's not that long ago. I said, "Thank you for sharing. Perhaps you're turning your own husband away from Christianity. So you know what that looks like? Maybe." That's all I wrote. And countless rooms and outrage by atheists galore later.
Countless rooms and outrage by atheists galore. Can you be more elaborate? Really, how many rooms were there?
On the Facebook, it's not that bad. But
it's about 5. It's about 5.
Are you sure there isn't anything else in the context?
It's more. No, that's it. The difference is just that, like I said, she was being genuine and was sending him this message out of genuine caring that she wanted him to stop because she is upset that she thinks that people are being led away from Christianity because of his bad behavior. And so she wants him to stop. So she sent him a message that wasn't profane or mean in any way. She just said, "I think you're leading people away from Christianity." And then him, knowing the backstory of their relationship and how much problems it caused for Jeff to deconvert and how much strain it put on their relationship. They had to go to counseling. Like, it really affected her. And for him to then say something that he doesn't genuinely believe just to hurt her was upsetting to us.
Well, here's the thing, Jane. First and foremost, I didn't know that they went through anything. In fact, when I first,
well-known troll atheist.
But Jane,
you're talking about after the message, Jane.
Do you think that's worse than somebody telling somebody else to go fuck their fat ugly wife?
But let me just say once again. Wait a minute, guys. Let me say once again where Jane misrepresents. When I first met Frances Michelle, I asked her, "Oh, you're a Christian. Well, how's your relationship? Is it strained at all?" And she said, "No." All of these things, Jane. And then after this message blew up, right, then she started to talk about how she went to therapy. I had not known any strains or relationships. I literally after the first day I met her. So it's disingenuous to pretend that I knew that. You said I knew that, Jane.
John,
you said I knew that. I did not know that.
John, I want you to keep taking away.
Strained now, right? And it's not strained now. It was strained when he left, when he deconverted. And they've talked about this, or she maybe didn't, but Jeff has talked about it a lot.
Okay. John, I would love for you to keep turning people away from Christianity. So don't stop, please.
Now, what's going on there is Jeff Trimble. I'm sure a lot of you, some of you on Clubhouse will be aware of him. A sort of prominent atheist troll on there. He goes on and annoys Darth. Jeff Trimble's wife got in communication with John Lee via Jeff Trimble, via her husband John Trimble, Jeff Trimble's clubhouse thingy. She didn't like the upshot, and now all of a sudden she swooned. She had to go to counselling. Where's her faith in Jesus Christ if she's a Christian? You know, a woman, always they'll make it hard work. Yeah.
Literally had no thought of you when I texted her back. And he agreed. And then once I told Frances, your husband believes this, then she was more willing to agree that it was not about Jeff. And so that's what it was.
Have you apologized for it, John?
I did not. I don't feel I need to.
He doesn't think he did anything wrong.
I thought I did hear you apologize to her, and I was thinking, why is he apologizing?
I did not.
I mean, I don't know. I think John says way worse shit on a regular basis, but
I think it's just kind of target.
I said way worse
she's
shit
not
this
a
morning.
debate person.
I think it's slimy. Yeah, I think it's kind of slimy, but it's, I don't know. It's just John.
Well, I mean, there's some people I just don't think are cut out to come on rooms like.
Yeah, I mean, basically, I was asking her, like, what do you know about turning people away from Christianity? You're saying that you recognize that in me? Like, I know you are because what reason? What reason would you give me the basis to recognize when one turns someone away from Christianity? And that to me was an important question to her specifically. I have no problem confronting her with that.
I know the answer to that.
Why didn't you answer her? Why did you ask her that question instead of supposing that she turned Jeff away when Jeff turned away?
I actually did, James. I actually did. You didn't read what I read?
You wrote it in a very passive-aggressive, sarcastic way that Frances would never pick up on. She's a very sweet old church lady. She's not going to get any of it.
I'll tell you what, I might have been able to word it a little bit better, I agree, to be crystal clear what I'm trying to say. But, I mean, I just was a quick response.
I mean, you could have just said, I think you're projecting.
Can you imagine?
Right? And that would have gotten the point across. But instead, you said what you...
those clowns outside
Well, he's not the
my
most
flat,
eloquent.
out on the street.
Well, actually, in text, I'm pretty good at being more precise with my words than boys.
1:15 in the morning, playing the music, so-called, at top volume, like everybody else needs to listen to it. Can you hear that? That garbage that we're playing outside the window.
And also, I don't think we should just say that
It's 1:15 in the morning.
know what he was saying in that, or like she's
Full volume.
so she didn't get like
The ignorance of people generally.
That's kind of undergirding her ability.
It's one of the reasons why people make me want to puke. I mean, I used to go up the mountains with this school I was at in the Lake District, and then it was peaceful, and now I think I would dread going up there, although I'm 62 now, not 14 and whatever. Because I could sort of imagine, I don't like to use that word, there'd be some idiot up there playing his boombox, top volume, at the top of Mount Scarfell or Coniston or Crinkle Crags or something. No consideration for other people. That's what I'm sick of.
Insisting that not only would Jesus not do that, what you're doing is not Christian, and what
You probably should have just ignored it.
Well, this is the thing. I'll tell you what. I responded in a way that she doesn't message me anymore. How about that one, Rep?
Yeah, I honestly don't think that you're that much in the wrong here, John. I'm actually going to be on John's side to this. I think it's he had the right to respond to her after she said that to him.
Numerous times, rascal. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, he has the right to defend himself, so.
I'm not on his side, but this just isn't a hill I would die on. I don't know. It seems somewhat trivial to me, but I don't know.
Somewhat?
It seemed like more of a social justice warrior opportunity for the atheists than anything else.
Never mind.
I would agree. I would agree with Matt on that one.
Yeah.
John Lee, Sidney Winston doesn't want to talk with you on stage. What did you do to him?
Oh, he doesn't want to talk with me? Well, I'll tell you what, I have a lot to say with him. I mean, Matt and I here know Khalilullah. He doesn't. And I have some things to say about him, sure.
Sidney, if you do say anything about Khalil, just be careful. Don't say anybody's real name, because it's probably a violation of TOS. And also, he's threatening to.
Somebody's real name. What are you talking about?
He's threatening to sue for slander, as a warning.
Yeah, but he's full of bullshit. That is nonsense. That's just him being arrogant and narcissistic and.
You can't prove that. You know how hard it is to win a libel or slander case? There's no way he can
sue for defamation or slander when he's actually guilty. So
Well, we don't know that yet.
Don't worry about what he says. Yes, I do.
How do you know?
Well, I watched some of your stream, and I'm not saying he's guilty or anything, but do I understand correctly that this is the second child that's accused him of it?
In 2017 in Washington State, his wife and 2 children at the time filed against him, filed a protection order.
His biological daughter?
Yeah.
Biological
His
children,
biological son and daughter. They filed a protection order against him. He didn't contest it. He had to give up his weapons. They had some kind of a child custody agreement, and it was finalized uncontested. So she was granted a permanent custody, also a permanent protection order from him. Now, I don't know what the nature of the domestic violence was.
Exactly. I have a question, Sidney.
But it was domestic violence, so he's carrying that here into this domestic violence. It's worse than domestic violence, what he's done now. He's gone from bad to worse.
Yeah, so do you know about did you see the documentation on that, by any chance, Sidney?
Are you interrogating me there, John?
No, I'm wondering. No, you act like you know. You act like you know something about it. That's what I'm asking.
From what position? From what position are you questioning me?
I'm coming from a position of
being a theist asshole.
Nobody's allowed to
No. I'm actually coming from a position who knows Justin. I've known him for 2 years when he was an atheist, when he became a Muslim. I've known him. I've talked to him for 8 hours a day at a time with Jake the Muslim metaphysician, and so I do know him, right? And I do know his wife's name, his ex-wife's name. I know Chloe from his current wife, and so I know about the details of the trial. I have documents. I have documents about the trial.
Do you know the details of the GoFundMe that his ex-wife has put up? Because
of course he has three. He has three sources of funding.
What is there a GoFundMe for?
For court costs.
No. Yeah, I'll even bring it up and I'll read it to you.
Well, that reflects me for this case. Poorly on her. That seems to reflect poorly on her character, not his.
His ex-wife has a GoFundMe because...
Yeah, but that doesn't look bad for him. That looks bad for the ex-wife.
Hear me out.
Oh, his ex-wife. Okay.
His ex-wife has a GoFundMe because the family always relied on Justin for the bills. Now, Justin can't work because he's under house arrest, and she obviously has nowhere else to turn, so she's turned to GoFundMe.
You know she kicked him out on November the 1st of 2021, right? Or you don't even know that. It seems to me... I happen...
If you're going to attack me...
Sydney, hang on.
I'm going to call you a pedophile, but
Sydney
Downing is a pedophile, and if you're going to protect him, then you become a pedophile protector.
No. I just.
John, do you think he's innocent? Do you think that he's innocent, or you just don't think he's proven guilty yet?
Are you asking me, Godless?
Yeah. Why are you so quick to protect him?
I don't know. I just don't like the misinformation this guy's putting out.
John, have you seen the indictment? Have you seen the indictment?
Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? You think that's all I have? What do you have? Yes, I've seen the grand jury indictment. Yes.
Yeah. Okay, I've got more than that.
Dated April 30. Yes.
No, dated April 27.
Is it April 27? Well, I remember being like something like April 30.
You've seen it.
I have it.
It's all
I have it right now.
But you're going to read the whole thing word for word.
Listen, let me tell you something, Sydney. I personally am the one who gave him...
Do you even know how to read, John?
I personally am the one who showed it to Justin. Do you know that? He didn't even know it existed.
I don't believe you.
Okay. I don't care if you don't believe me.
If you're going to sit here and brag to me about shit, I'm just going to say I don't believe you.
All right, that's fine. So
it's irrelevant that you showed it.
Listen. As far as the document, I have the file in a sense that I could just give it to Godless. You could put it up. I mean, that'll prove that I have the file.
I don't want to put it with anybody's real name up. But why do you have it?
Okay, yeah. You're right because it was spread. It was given to certain people on Clubhouse.
But anybody can get it.
It belongs to Jasmine because she has it and so forth, and so she on Facebook, with the group of atheists, have an issue with Justin, and so she's been putting out information consistently, and that grand jury indictment at the end of April was one of them.
I have an issue with Justin. He's a fucking pedophile.
Yeah, so I mean, I'm just talking about some of the things you're claiming, Sydney. Just by listening to you, I could tell you don't know much. I think I heard something about his YouTube channel and things like that. I don't know. Do you know Justin, Sydney? I mean, do you?
Yes, I know Justin. Also, I know.
How long have you known him?
I know people who have known him since kindergarten. I've spoken to them. I've spoken to people who you said you met him 2 years ago. I spoke to somebody who helped him up to 2 years ago set up his whole YouTube channel. I spoke to that guy today.
Which guy? I mean, there's a lot of guys.
A lot about Justin. that you don't know I know. So I don't understand why I have to answer your stupid question. It's none of your business.
No, okay.
Okay, let me tell you is he's indicted for sexual battery, for unlawful sexual conduct with a minor, and in both cases, it's his stepchild, his stepson, or his stepchild.
Right. Right.
How do you support this guy, John?
I don't. So what I am trying to tell you, Sydney, is what I don't support is misinformation, right? And what you meant, what you said about the Seattle,
is human evolution,
right?
Is human evolution,
it happened
is
to
human
be
evolution true?
Listen. It happened
John,
to be
is human
about
evolution true?
What?
What
human evolution, is it a fact? Is it a science fact? Has it been proven by science?
Yes, I provisionally accept biological evolution. Do you have a problem with that?
I didn't ask you that. I said
evolution is a lie, John Lee.
You and me, are
Thank
we
you.
evolved like everybody else, like all the other animals?
Oh, I believe in special creation.
There you go. See, now that's misinformation right there. So don't talk to me about misinformation.
Well, I didn't hear your specific question. I thought you asked me if I believe in evolution. I do.
Yes, I did. Do you believe in human evolution? I asked you, and you said no.
Well, yes, I believe in evolution.
So therefore, what you're doing, you're spreading misinformation a hell of a lot more than you think I am.
Sydney, I believe in Homo sapien being evolved from the greater apes.
Oh, rubbish.
Okay? You don't know my position.
They weren't evolved from the greater apes.
You don't believe the Bible then, do you?
What do you think I just said? You don't even understand my terminology.
Everybody evolved on their own. The apes evolved.
Listen, Sydney.
In parallel to us.
Sydney, this is a complete.
Understand science.
This is a complete red herring. I don't understand science.
Every time you come up to a platform.
I'm calling you about misinformation. Hey, Sydney. All I'm saying is you mentioned something about the case in Washington. It was in Tacoma, Washington. Do you have documentation on that? It's posted on Matt Dillahunty's Twitter account.
Well, I mean, surely you have at least that. It's all on my YouTube channel. So
you do have the documentation of his first wife, right?
Be my guest. Go ahead.
Right. So my point is this, okay? There was a custody situation, right? And you're trying to make it out to be something more than that?
Domestic violence. What does domestic violence tell you?
Domestic violence?
Does domestic violence not lead to a custody situation? Why are you so surprised?
Well, my point is, from what you were saying, you said that this was the second incident, right? Are you talking about some sort of, are you saying that, because, correct me if I'm wrong, I heard you imply, I thought I heard you imply there was some kind of a sexual situation with one of his children. You did not imply that?
That's what he's going to trial for his actions in 2021.
Correct. However, you're saying that this is the second time. Isn't that what you said?
Well, the only other time I know of is 2017 in Washington. If there's any others, I'm not aware of them.
That's a sexual with a minor? Sexual assault on a minor?
That was a domestic violence.
Right.
Civil
on his children?
On his wife and children, yeah.
Wife and children? He was beating up his little children? Is that what you're saying?
Exactly.
Are you sure about that? Where are you coming up with this stuff, dude?
It's on the document that I posted. If you want to read it, go to my channel and read it.
That he's beating up his children.
Show you. Somebody can send it. You got to send it.
That he's what, sexually abusing his children?
Domestic violence, I said.
Yes, you already said that like 5 times. Do you know what the nature is of the domestic?
If it's domestic violence, it's domestic violence. There are no details attached to it.
Yes, there are details.
Why don't you ask?
What do you mean there's no details?
Ask Justin himself.
What information do you have?
What? Ask him what he did to his family in 2017. You
keep changing the subject, just like you did on when I saw a little clip. Every time it was something substantive, you just kept changing the subject, Sydney. I'm just asking, what documents do you have to suggest what you're claiming? Because I'm telling you. Because I'm telling you.
Why are you so special that you can go and look at the documents that I have made public on my channel? Why are you asking me to bring up things that are already publicized?
Well, I didn't see. I didn't see anything.
If you're lazy, that's not my problem.
Well, I don't know what you have. I know what I have.
Yeah. Right.
You didn't even know that he was going to court on the 7th, on the 11th of July, did you?
I actually did. I told you I spoke to somebody today.
Today.
Closely.
So you talked to someone today. That he went to court on June the 6th. You know that, right?
What's the difference? He's a fucking pedophile. Jesus Christ.
More red herrings.
What is the matter with you, John?
The issue is this, Sydney. The issue is this, okay? The information that you're putting out there is no more than a feeling, right? It's other than a mischaracterization of someone, a character assassination, right? In a sense that that you're putting innuendos out there, and you're literally giving out misinformation, just factual errors, right? And that's irresponsible. That's actually dangerous, Sydney.
Tell me about.
There's one thing to put out information that you know to be the case.
You've made an accusation, so now let's hear about the factual errors.
I'm talking about the case in Washington.
I made factual errors and misinformation, and all I'm telling you is that Justin Downing is a fucking pedophile.
Yeah, that's all. Every time you're confronted with something, that's all you have to say. That's what you did in the video with Justin.
So he's a pedophile. Well, what's the problem with repeating that he's a pedophile?
You don't even know that. Do you know that, Justin? Are you? Hang on. Are you going to be a witness in the trial if there is a trial?
John, go back to sleep. Put your head under your covers. You'll be okay tomorrow.
You're claiming something.
You'll be okay tomorrow. No, anybody else want to join in this conversation? Here's
the issue.
I'm not saying he's guilty or anything, but there is a chance you're defending a pedophile right now, John Lee.
I'm not defending anybody, okay? If you're going to ask me, godless, do I think that he's a pedophile? I'm just simply going to say I don't know. I genuinely don't know. And that he's presumed innocent until proven guilty, right? Now, I happen to know some of the things about his court case, right? I do know things like that, and I do know what type of evidence there is and so forth and things like that, right? And so even still, I genuinely don't know. Genuinely, Sydney. But you seem to know.
Exactly, I do know.
So let me get this straight. A guy like me who has a bunch of documents, who has known this guy personally for 2 years, I genuinely don't know, Sydney. I really, right? But you seem to be so certain to the point, are you capable of being a witness in a trial?
Are you stupid, John? Seriously? Do you understand what a witness is? A witness is a first-hand... a witness is somebody who...
So my question is
something firsthand.
So my question is, how do you know? How do you know? How do you know? Hearsay? How do you know?
Don't waste my time.
It's not an unreasonable question, Sydney. Sydney, it's not an unreasonable question. How do you know?
Special revelation.
I'll tell you what, that's a better answer than what Sydney's putting out here right now.
Yeah, well, you're a joke, John. This is not funny. This Christian veil that you hide behind is not working for you or anyone.
Yeah, I'm not interested in defending Justin. I'm just concerned about the information, the misinformation you're putting out there. That's all.
Information on Justin being a pedophile is not defending Justin, right?
Sydney, I wish you would find the info on this Lasha Lane. She goes around accusing people of being racist with no evidence to back it up.
Totally a fucking racist. Your Twitter, your Twitch, your YouTube, all the things, baby girl. You are so
show the content that you're talking about that makes me racist.
Or did you go and delete it? Because I do have screenshots and shit. So
sure,
it's cool if you did.
Send me the link and I'll post them to the room right now.
But here's the thing, Sydney. Like, this is what I don't know. I just heard a little bit. Of course, this is now in my case it's hearsay. I don't pretend to know. But they said that you have a history of doing this, and that you've done it to, I guess.
Do your own research, dude. I have a history of exposing people, maybe, but I'm not wrong. Ultimately.
Right. I mean, I've heard some stories about things you said that were in error about certain people, high-profile people. You've been. Can you acknowledge? Can you acknowledge you've made some mistakes, maybe? Can you acknowledge?
What's in error?
Can you acknowledge? What was that?
You said you've heard stories that I've said things in error. So what is that? What have I said?
I'm trying to remember who that person was. If it was Matt Dillahunty.
Let me defend myself, John. Let me defend myself.
Sydney Winston knows a lot about Darth Dawkins.
Darth Dawkins. Thank you, Gigi. It was Darth Dawkins.
Oh, that's Gary Milne, the psychopath.
Sydney, can I add something?
What I did
quick?
hear.
I want to know how you know Darth has herpes. That's all.
I don't think I want to talk about Darth's sexual issues with anybody on this platform.
No, the question is, did you...
Bad enough that he's got herpes and now it's got to be spoken about in public? I don't think so.
Wait a minute.
So what I'm
you're
getting
claiming knowledge.
Hold on a second. Hold on. What I find really funny about this conversation is, no offense, Sydney, but every question's being asked you're kind of deflecting, and you sound exactly like John in every other room. This is great. Go on.
Okay, well, that's your opinion and your perspective. I respect it, but you're the only one who sees the world through your eyes that way.
That is not the truth. But I mean, I made the mistake of saying Matt Dillahunty. It was Darth Dawkins, and what I heard was actually the herpes part, and there's some other stuff, and so. Do you know that Darth Dawkins had herpes, Sydney?
Did you know that Darth Dawkins committed adultery?
You're deflecting.
I'm asking you first.
I'm talking about herpes.
In order to get the herpes, he has to commit adultery. Do you know that he committed adultery? Are you convinced?
I don't know anything about him, to be honest.
Why are you asking about the herpes if you don't know how he got herpes?
I'm just because you're asking me
by messing around, by sleeping around with other girls and boys.
Okay, so what does that have to do with anything?
He's a degenerate pig.
I just asked you a very simple question, not whether he committed adultery. I don't even know that he committed adultery.
No,
okay.
he did. No, Sydney and I do. We had a video of his wife on this panel on stage talking about how he committed adultery.
And how sexual STDs are a real problem with these men.
Yeah, how do you know that's his wife,
and they come home again? So really, don't.
I can't believe what I'm hearing. I ask you about herpes, and you talk about adultery.
The truth hurts. The truth sucks sometimes, doesn't it?
What?
You can't.
Listen.
You can't have everything pointing back.
I just asked you a simple question. If you know, as of some sort of fact, that Darth Dawkins had herpes. That's all I asked.
Yeah.
You either do know or you don't.
I said
yeah. Okay. So may I ask you how you obtained that information?
That's the final question on the subject. Let's go to something else. Let's go to Justin Downing's pedophilia. I want to know what motivates him.
Okay, Lawson supposedly got a screenshot of me being racist. Is that what's supposed to be on your profile picture?
Who says you're racist?
Lasha Lane said that I'm racist.
Well, in that case, I have to inform everybody.
You're a total racist fuck.
Everybody on this planet is racist.
Absolutely not. But she's a total racist fuck. I might be a bigot, but I'm not a racist.
What's the difference?
One has power and one has not.
There's no difference between a bigot and a racist.
Do you live in the United States?
The United States of planet Earth.
Do you live in the United States of America?
I don't give up.
Okay, thank you.
Because of identity problems.
Yeah, hey Sydney. Hey Sydney, you know the woman
outside the United States?
But yeah,
hey
Sydney. Yeah. Total racist bitch.
Oh, there you go. Thank you. Thank you. You live outside the United States.
Excuse me?
Outside.
Yeah, no.
Mark, can you actually wait for them to finish? Sorry.
Go ahead, Godless.
Can you wait for them to finish?
Sure.
Yeah, I was just wondering, Sydney, the woman that you interviewed, are you sure it was Darth Dawkins' wife? Have you confirmed it independently? Or did you
No,
just
it wasn't.
take her word for it?
He didn't interview her. It was a video of her on a panel of other women talking about how their husbands committed adultery because we found her Facebook. So I do know firsthand about the adultery thing. I don't know anything about the herpes though.
He is called
Gary. Again, if you want to know more about it, go and watch the videos that I made on it.
I'm not saying what his last name is because I don't know.
Well, let's not say his last name because that's probably a violation of TLR.
Yeah, I don't know it.
Yeah, don't do
Yeah,
that.
but I'm just saying the name that he's accused of having, I've heard people call it, including his friends. So that's not controversial.
Yeah, but how do you know it's her? Did you see that video from her website, her Facebook?
Oh, I mean, I've talked. Oh, yeah. I don't remember how we got that video, but it's the same woman on the Facebook that I was there firsthand for the public before the information even became public with Darth Dawkins. So I know.
Like maybe the video was shot in a region close to where...
I've even spoken to his son on Facebook.
Yeah, I know that.
Alright, are we good? Can we hurry up? Because I gotta fucking go. I don't have time for this.
Yeah, go ahead, Lausha. I mean, I guess he doesn't. I guess he doesn't know whether he had herpes or not, right?
I mean, shit. Go get a fucking test. You know what I mean? It ain't that big of a deal. If you're having an outbreak, go get a goddamn test.
Have you got herpes? You trying to find out how to beat it?
I don't know. Maybe they do. Maybe you should text
Okay,
me.
so what is it? The screenshot on your profile picture that's supposed to make me racist?
Your own shit. You do understand where that term came from. You're not a fucking idiot. You know it's a fucking racist trope, and you continue to do it. Not only that, but you're a fucking menace to men, too, because you automatically accuse them of, you accuse them of kidnapping you, you accuse them of sexual fucking assault. Like,
I've never accused a man of kidnapping me. I'm anti-feminist. I'm an anti-feminist. I think that men are being accused of sexual harassment.
You have literally already done it. It's on your fucking TikTok.
So what did I do that made me racist?
Falsely accused a man of trying to kidnap you. I literally just told you, trying to use the word welfare queen and do that like it's a big ass fucking trope for you. You're not.
I tried to accuse who of kidnapping me?
I put the link in the chat if you want to revise it. It's only the third one.
I tried to kidnap Godless, but I failed. Your email?
I'm sorry. What did you say? I'm not listening to you. What?
I tried to kidnap Godless, but I failed.
Oh well, I'm sorry. Maybe her boyfriend or her baby daddy.
My boyfriend's here actually, but what is the welfare? How does my welfare queen video make me racist?
Where's the other video on your TikTok of you trying to get a black woman fired like a fucking Karen because she didn't do anything to you?
Why do you think it was because she was black?
Yeah, you did. It was because it's the third time you've done some shit.
Yeah, I've had run-ins with a lot of people in public. Some of them were black.
Why do you go to fucking stores and steal shit and then try to fucking return after you scraped all the contents out? Try to return it for more money.
How is that relevant?
Well, that's just a good idea.
You're a fucking.
That's just a good idea. Think about it, right?
You're jealous there.
You're paying. Well, just think about. Wait. If you had the opportunity to get something for free, would you not take it?
I don't need to do that shit. I'm
not asking about whether or not you have money. Yeah, but look.
I'm not.
All right. So say you have two options.
I don't need to do that.
But say you have two options. Just hold on a second. Say you have two options, right?
Come here.
Wait, but why aren't you letting me talk? Listen. So say you have two options, right? The same product. I don't understand what you're doing. Look, you have two products, right? Same product. One costs $20. The other's free. It's at no cost to anyone else. Is there some reason not to take?
How does my welfare queen video make me racist? I don't know what the shoplifting has to do with.
That's what that means. Yeah, if you're fucking.
How is that racist?
Bitch, you know how that's fucking racist. Don't even play me. Act like you're a fucking idiot. You're not a fucking idiot. You know where it came from.
You said you were gonna bring proof that I was racist.
How about this? How about you call yourself a fucking ghetto queen or a trailer trash queen or something like that? How about that? How about you call yourself that? Because that's a little bit more. Isn't that a bit more accurate for you?
Ghetto queen sounds more racist.
Hey.
How is welfare queen racist?
Living in a trailer park makes you racist.
Type the word. Why don't you Google it? Why don't you Google the term welfare queen and you tell me how it's not racist?
Maybe ghetto queen or something, but.
In this fucking shit.
Lasha, if I get
well, I think you go around accusing.
am I right?
I'm not the first person that you accused of being racist.
Are you attacking her economic status in life? That's racist right there.
You're a fucking racist.
You're attacking her economic status in life, which is
down on that shit. You're a fucking
classist.
racist, Godless.
You're classist.
You're a fucking racist. And I don't care if I'm a classist or not. I can be a classist. I can fucking discriminate. I can be a fucking bigot if I need to. But I'm not a fucking racist. She's a goddamn racist.
Why do you accuse people of being racist so quickly?
Oh, baby, it wasn't quick. It wasn't quick for you. It wasn't quick. Believe me. I don't call anybody anything unless
why do you? So what's the evidence?
You're a trash-ass human being. That's why. I'm surprised.
No, I asked you for the evidence.
I gave you the evidence. If you don't,
what was it?
You don't accept it, that's fine.
No, that wasn't evidence. Come on,
did anybody see any evidence?
I'm sorry. Come on, Lasha. What?
So John Lee
your little PTR about ghetto queen, not ghetto, but welfare queen. How is that even racist?
John,
how is welfare queen racist?
You fucking sit up here and talk about how people who are rapists are more acceptable.
I would call that a racist card, Lasha.
John,
you're pulling out the racist card. You want to have us accept that?
Shut the fuck up.
Another person she accused of being racist was here. Daz. She accused Daz of being racist.
I don't support that. I mean, weren't you the one that said Pog is racist the other day?
I did, sure did. I said the term was racist. I didn't say anyone who was using it was. And this is the thing, y'all gonna fucking
Pog is offensive to you. Welfare queen is offensive to you. I mean, you just put out the race card like they're little players cards, right? I mean, the racist card here, racist card here, racist card there, racist card here. Come on, Lasha.
How about I throw you a pedophile card?
Yeah, you're more than entitled. I'm cool with it.
Okay, cool. Enjoy it. Here's the thing. If it doesn't apply, let it fucking fly. Okay?
Exactly.
If it doesn't want to stick to you, then let it fly. So don't question me about it.
Exactly. If the racist card doesn't apply, then the racist card can let be fly, right? So you can, so anybody can say racist card here, racist card again, more racist card, more racist card, and it doesn't apply, right, Lasha?
What you have to
none of that applies, right, Lasha?
John.
None of that racist card applies, right?
John,
you don't pull it out at all, right? You don't pull it out every chance you get, right? You don't put it out. You don't pull it out at any time, and therefore it doesn't apply, right? It doesn't apply because you don't pull it out every waking day of your life. It doesn't apply, right?
Anything else?
It doesn't apply that you pull it out every waking day of your life, right? Right, Lasha?
You
don't pull out the race card every single day you wake up, right?
Give me
it doesn't apply, Lasha.
Come on, John.
So you can let it fly, right, Lasha?
Come on, you little bitch boy. Come on, you little bitch boy. What else you got for me, you piece of shit motherfucking bitch boy? Sucking dicks like everybody else, like Tom and Haiti and all these other motherfuckers.
Whoa!
Tell me more about
Now it comes out.
These bitches every day. How are you doing?
Can I just tell you about one of my videos real quick, please?
You go right ahead, please. You say whatever you like.
Okay, there's a video on my channel of me getting into a fight with a white McDonald's manager, and the black McDonald's employees are agreeing with me. Do you want the link?
Were you being a troll?
I was being aggressive towards a white person, and the black people were backing me up.
So you got your ass kicked by a white person.
So am I racist against white people for targeting a white McDonald's manager?
A black person,
Tish, Lasha, you're done.
Backs you up doesn't mean that you're not a racist.
You're done. You're done, Lasha.
I am.
You said that me getting into encounters with black people in public.
Done, you son of a bitch. Show me I'm fucking done, bro.
Okay,
this
Lasha.
is fucking Godless's room, not yours.
But seriously, like welfare queen racist? Come on, Lasha. Welfare queen is racist? Seriously? Seriously?
Oh my god.
Fuck you, John. Godless.
I have a question.
Can you guys let Haiti talk, please?
Go ahead, Haiti.
I was pretty disappointed. Like, I agree with you on a lot of what you say, but then you throw out the F slur for homosexuals, and I thought that was kind of disappointing.
I threw it out. Yep.
So why should we take you seriously when
don't
you're
have to.
like bigoted
Baby
against
girl.
homosexuals?
Hey, Haiti, here's the thing. You know what? What's really interesting is I really respected you too, but I was super disappointed when I listened to you on a replay talk shit about me behind my back. So how should I take you? No. How about this? How do I take you seriously, Haiti? How do I take you seriously?
You're asking us to listen to you when you talk about
I didn't ask
what's
you to
racism.
listen to me.
Well, you're on
Baby,
the stage.
I didn't ask you to listen to me.
Do you not want to be heard?
No, you don't have to. I really didn't ask you to listen to me. I came up on stage because I was invited on stage. That's why I came up.
That's fine, but I feel like you want us to listen.
If you would like me to talk to you separately, totally fine. We can talk on another stage. But this is Trash Talking Tuesday, right?
Yeah, and I'm trash talking you, and I'm saying
okay. So I'm
throw out the F word. I'm not.
Yeah, but what trash talking means to us is something different than what it means to you. It's not just screaming mindless insults at people and screaming over them.
It's not mindless because everyone seems to.
We actually have content to our shit talking.
Would you like me to trash talk you?
Just like I said, you're interrupting.
Would you like me to call you an old fucking lady who
you didn't understand what I just said
for all these other dudes?
You didn't understand what I just said.
I heard exactly what you said, but I have smoke for everybody.
What do you think I said?
I have smoke for everybody if you fucking want it. Because Haiti, I've been
what do you think
you about yourself a long fucking time. How you're a fucking apologist, how you're a fucking you sit there and you clap and you sit there and hold court with John Lee every fucking day, and then you sit there and talk shit about him behind his back.
Why are you defending John Lee? John Lee actually probably is racist.
Yo, bro, this has nothing to do with you. I'm trash talking Haiti, and that's what I'm going to do now.
Well, you're porn star.
Lasha,
I am a porn star, and I'm fucking good at it.
Yeah, that's what I told you. I was disappointed with the F word, and all you're doing is insulting me in return.
And that's the only thing I've ever done, right?
Will you guys take turns talking? Stop behaving like savages.
How much
is that the only thing I've ever done? See, thanks for the racist one. I could sit here and call you a cracker, but I'm not going to do that, right?
Well, I don't really care about that.
So what, Haiti? So yes, I used the F word.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you shouldn't. And that's what I'm saying.
One time.
You shouldn't.
I did.
You shouldn't.
Okay, you're absolutely correct.
Great,
but I'm also part of the LGBTQ community, baby girl.
I don't care.
So I can use whatever terminology I fucking want. No. Just like I can call you a bitch, and just like I can call another man, another person who is gay, the F word if I want to.
Listen, I got banned. I got suspended for raising Asian slurs, Lasha. Am I entitled to use racial slurs? No. I got suspended for using it. I said I was entitled, and I got banned for that.
John,
I said I was entitled. No, I was surprised by that statement. Are you serious?
Why is she on the
You're entitled to say certain words.
If you are so worried about me and the words they use, why don't you get me clipped?
No, I was just surprised at that. Okay, so what do you think about me saying like Chinese virus or something like that? You think I can say like Chinese virus?
I have no more time for you, John. I'm only talking to Haiti and Godless at the moment.
You're not really talking to me, Lasha. You're not talking to me because every time I talk, you talk over me. So we're not actually having a conversation.
You don't really say much.
You're doing it right now.
So go ahead.
Okay. All I wanted to say was, if you want to call out racism, I'm behind you. But then if you say a homophobic slur, then I think you're a hypocrite. And that's all I want.
Okay, well, how about this? I literally just told you I am part of the LGBTQIA community. Are you?
No.
Okay.
Haiti, do you think that she called me racist for my welfare queen video? Do you think I'm racist for that?
Not necessarily.
Not necessarily.
Well, let her. She said she's going to bring evidence, so let her present her evidence to Haiti, and let Haiti tell us what she thinks of it.
I put it in the chat already. If you'd like to scroll up, it's there.
My TikTok video, I guess, that supposedly shows I'm racist is under a minute. If you want to go watch it,
it doesn't matter how long it is, girl. Has no problem, no bearing on it whatsoever. It's still there, and that wasn't the only.
I wasn't saying it's not racist. I wasn't saying it's not racist because it's under a minute. I was just saying, Haiti, it won't take you long to watch it, retard.
Oh, I don't know.
Okay.
So fucking funny.
So is calling anybody welfare queen racist, or just
now? Look, is it? I agree. It is a stereotype that is aimed at black women. Right? I would agree with that.
Not necessarily.
But I'm not sure
the crown of welfare king.
That makes you just racist on
I don't think that it exclusively refers to black women.
I didn't say it did, but it is. That's how it has historically been used.
I've never heard that.
Well, that's because you're not American.
Yeah, I wouldn't agree with that.
Okay, whatever.
Whether you agree with it or not doesn't make it less true.
But if she's using it
so calling myself, who's white, a welfare queen makes me racist?
Just told you, not necessarily to explain to you where the term came from. I don't know what else you need.
Actually, this wasn't my intention when I made the video. This wasn't my intention when I made the video, but it might have actually been fighting against the stereotype that black people are welfare queens, because I was white and I was a welfare queen.
If Godless is a welfare queen, she can use the term, right? Just like you can use a gay slur because you say you're part of our.
Sure, you know what?
Oh, that makes sense.
Let's go with that. Let's go with that. I'm going to give it to you for that one. Let's go with that. How about this, though? How about this, though? How about using the trope of buying lobster and feeding it to your dog? And pointing out all the things that taxpayers do, whatever. How about that? In addition to the welfare queen. In addition to... Well, actually, she's embracing it?
Yeah, just search for Fifi. It's not racist.
Yeah, okay. Feelings.
Hey, have fun with it. I'm cool. But I think she's a racist.
Are you jealous because you work and pay taxes and can't afford to sit on there?
Not jealous at all, baby girl.
It's not racist.
Wait, you're a porn star, so you have to sell your body for sex, and I can just sit back and collect the money, collect your taxes. I sit back and collect your taxes. You sell your body.
And I still pay taxes because I have an LLC and I'm a fucking.
Yeah, well, thank you for your tax dollar. Thank you for your tax dollar.
And I hope it fed your dog great, because I'm not complaining about
with
that.
Being a porn star.
So why do you mention
absolutely
it then?
Nothing?
Why do you mention it then?
Because she's a fucking asshole and she's a fucking racist. And I pulled it out because I really wanted to draw another parallel. Sydney, do you need more?
You don't care about it.
I mean, don't you get tired of people pulling up the race card every day? Race card here, race card there. I mean, what's the deal?
If you think I'm throwing out the race card, then
every day.
Then hey, John, you don't have to come in fucking spaces where I am, but you continue to do so.
She also accused Daz of being racist. She accused Daz of being racist.
Yeah,
I know Daz. Daz is not racist.
They just squashed it, so, right? You squashed it.
He may be anti-theist, but he's not racist.
I didn't hear what you said.
I think your exact words were, he's as bad as a racist.
I said, I'm sorry, Haiti. I didn't hear what you said. Can you please repeat yourself? And all the men just seem to keep wanting to fucking talk.
Yeah, that's right on. I thought you and Daz squashed whatever beef you had. That was mine.
Oh yeah, when he came in my back channel and tried to apologize to me about how the shit what he did, I told him to fuck off because I don't believe him.
That's not true.
That's not really squashing it.
You got a feminist card going
I don't have a problem with Daz. Have I spoken to Daz since I've been on this stage?
You didn't tell me.
So you got a racist card, a feminist card, now you got an LGBT card. What else you got in there? What else you got in your purse?
I have zero problem ignoring Daz. I have zero problem ignoring John. They're fucking clouds to me. I have zero problems ignoring Godless, and she knows that. I came here specifically because it said Trash Fucking Talking Tuesday, and I knew as soon as I walked up in this goddamn room, she would call me up here, and I would get to rail her fucking ass like I was fucking her with a strap on. That would be what I was doing.
By pulling up the race card?
John, why are you pulling up?
She's pulling up the vagina card. That's what she's doing.
I heard fucking with a strap.
John, why are you still talking, you piece of shit?
But look, we're not interested in like mindless.
Then
mindless,
fine. Then
mindless
you said Trash Talking Tuesday. If you don't fucking want to hear it, then you can. I will go. You can kick me out of the fucking room.
We want something with content. We want something with content, not mindless.
I just want to say that Lasha makes this whole room feel like a Jerry Springer episode.
Great. I'm glad you enjoyed it.
That's racist.
This is why I always kick her.
That's not racist, but that's okay.
That was a joke.
I am already recording the whole fucking thing, so it's totally okay.
Lasha, can you talk about fucking with strap on again, please?
I sure can. Who would you like me to fuck next? Would you like me to fuck you?
Oh, please.
Would you like to be pegged?
Why not? Saint is a woman.
Do you want lube or no lube?
Let's do lube. I don't.
Or just spit.
No. Well, actually,
just thinking about it makes
I
me
prefer spit.
Let's do that.
Do you want me to fuck your mouth or your asshole?
Both.
Jesus.
Anyway, she can come back. She can come back up, but I moved her to the audience. I just want to tell what I saw her the night with Daz when she was insinuating he was racist. She was like, she was so dramatic. She was like this on the mic. She was pretending she was like tearing up. I'm sorry, guys. I can't talk. I just need a minute to go to my safe space after the exchange with Daz. It was so silly. It was like absolutely ridiculous.
My crime was kicking her, and I'm a racist.
Yeah, but I mean, seriously though, godless. I mean, welfare queen. I mean, I don't know if that's racist.
I think if you were like looking at someone else, like at the checkout line, and they were buying lobster, you'd be like, "That's a welfare queen," and they were black. That might be racist, right?
No, that's poking your nose into somebody else's.
I mean, what do you mean by welfare queen? What do you picture?
Have you never heard the term?
You picture an African American lady with rollers in her hair, with her shower cap on, and a robe, and 2 kids. Is that what you picture, really?
That's how the term was used. Yeah.
I don't picture that at all. I don't.
Oh, you don't remember?
Look,
You don't remember?
I want to say something about this
during,
topic.
like, the Clinton era when he was trying to do welfare reform. And by welfare reform, it means cutting welfare, right? So they came up with this idea of the welfare queen who was, like, living off the government's teat and popping out babies for the money. You're going to claim you don't remember any of that now?
I'll tell you what. I'm going to Google welfare queen looking for images and see what it would look like.
If you Google welfare queen lobster, my picture comes up.
You'll get a picture regardless.
Hey, how's it going, John? John Lee.
What did you want to say, Marvelous?
Oh yeah. Let's see. So people who throw around racism in such a loose and liberal way like that, and I say liberal as in freely, they sort of blunt or desensitize us to taking the term seriously, and because there's so many broad usages of it, I guess the point is to not even care when they accuse you of it. To me, at this point, being accused of being racist is on par with a Christian accusing me of being a sinner. It literally means nothing to me, and I think that's probably how other people should look at it at this point.
I look at it that way. Yeah, I agree.
It means as much to me. Picture if a Christian tells you you are a sinner, how bad do you feel?
I feel
that's as bad as I feel.
To hell, you're just laughing inside at him, and he's being.
Yeah, and so that's as bad as I feel when someone calls me racist. I don't even care to argue back.
Is it that you think that you're not racist, or that racism is dead, or that chances are?
In America. Oh, well, it's a pleasure to meet you.
Hello. You've got some background noise going on there. I don't know what that is.
One moment, I'll fix that. Just a second, please. Okay.
Oh, Wesley. I'm fine, thanks.
Well, today I said the vision, and I said, Jesus, I don't believe in your forgiveness. Thank you for showing me the foot cut off that did not bleed. I don't read the Bible every day. Thank you for showing me the square pit. I'm double-minded, double-hearted, and double-tongued.
Yeah, Wesley.
Thank you for showing me the 2 creatures. So, Jesus, would you have him bite his tongue?
You don't believe in Jesus' forgiveness? Hello? Banned. I've seen Wesley. point, so I'm going to
You know, my girlfriend is
delete
mixed,
that.
and she thinks that women like Lasha are opportunists, and you know, she doesn't talk about the race card all
What
the
on
time.
earth did he
So
say there?
that's really cool. I love people who don't bring up the race card.
Okay, I'm gonna close the room, guys. Nobody else has anything to say, right?
Wait, I'm sure I can find some shit to talk.
Oh well, who do you think is the most reprehensible member of the community?
Let's see. I'm gonna say John Lee.
What about after John?
Thank you, Marv.
You're welcome. It's from the bottom of my heart.
I'm glad you put me above Darth Dawkins. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
He the entire time defending people.
Wait, what? Sorry, what? You cut out, Godless.
John Lee spent tonight defending people.
Yeah. See, he's not. He's not.
Well, I mean,
a bad guy.
today I was accused of being a pedophile defender, right? That's pretty pretty low considering they used to actually call me a pedophile. So I mean, it just seems a little.
Sydney.
Yeah. I said a pedophile protector.
Yeah. If anyone could convert me to Christianity, it would be John Lee.
Really?
Yep.
Why?
He's just my favorite Christian on Clubhouse.
Yeah, but why?
He believes in evolution, you
Just
dummy.
listening to him talk is like ASMR.
Oh, so you like the tone, sort of soothing or something.
And the arguments, you know, all the arguments, all of it.
You like the argument that God's evil.
No.
Well, that's what he's saying.
Okay, well, if he says it, I'm sure he has a good reason.
How about his argument that it's okay to kill babies because God said it and God does it, and it's okay to do what God does, or it's okay that God does it, and maybe humans aren't allowed to do it, but it's okay if God does it. And if God tells me to kill a baby, I'll kill a baby.
Look, Sydney, I feel like you're like being a debate bro and trying to catch me in some gotcha. Okay, I'm not here to like
I'm not talking to you. I'm talking to the room.
All right. Okay.
Sorry.
I mean, his God is just like a moral monster, so it's just baffling that you would find his brand of Christianity. Maybe you haven't heard enough.
No. I've heard a lot. It's
Maybe it's his buttery voice.
Yeah, that's probably it.
I feel like I'm being judged.
No, I'm literally confused because I've never heard anyone say that John would be the one to get them to Christianity.
I think it's that he's out of all the characters on Clubhouse, he's one of my favorite.
I'm going to end this stream and then I'm going to edit it and then I'll start another
these
live
people
stream,
on the internet,
probably.
like at first they're like this idea, and then you're like, whoa, why did that person think that stuff? And then you like sort of get obsessed with them. That is what John Lee.
Yeah.
That's John Lee for me right now. Like,
that is
I want to know what kind of cereal he eats. I want to know everything about him. I want to have like a holographic Pokemon card with John Lee on it.
Should be his official biographer. You should hire him.
There was a John Lee fan club, and there were 28 rooms. So you're not alone.
Yeah. I wish I was like John Lee.
Well,
I think we should all try to be a little bit more like John Lee.
Openly unpleasant, Gavin. So which John isn't? So you could try and work on that.
Sure. Hey, Gigi, before you close the room, there's three junior men in the chat smack talking me now. I've invited them to come up and their grievances on a live platform, but they don't seem to be overly enthusiastic.
Nick.
All right.
Three men with no balls.
I'll tell you. All right, Gavin. He wants the shit talk. I'll tell you why, Gavin. So, when we first interacted, Gavin kind of just came left field at me. For no real reason, just kind of disrespected me. And I'm like, whatever. I really don't take this app or these people too seriously. So I just reached out to Gavin. I'm like, hey, man, let's just start a relationship so we can be on par with each other. Like, yeah, I love that, Dominic. Thanks. He invites me up for a debate the other night and gets his ass completely handed to him. And now he's sour whining. Gavin, we can start over again, man. I have no quarrel with you.
I don't recall my ass being handed to me. Does anybody
Okay,
recall
well then
that?
do you want to answer the question that we were left on? Have you seen God made life?
Yes, I have, yeah.
Whoa! You hear that, everyone? Gavin likes to lie.
Dominic, is the universe eternal or not? Or no, sorry, is the universe infinite? Is the universe infinite or not?
It's not infinite.
You tell me, Buster Keaton. Hang on, I got some
You don't know, do you? You don't know.
Did I claim to know?
Is this the guy with no pants? Is this the Gavin with no pants?
Yeah.
I think so.
Okay.
Karate Kid. Oh.
He's just like
Gavin.
unpleasant
He's
and rude.
an entertainer, that's for sure.
No, he's like, shut up and open your ears, mate. And it's
I
like,
know,
dude,
he
I'm
talks
just trying to
such
have
nonsense. I think he's just, it's just a script that he's using to entertain.
Yeah. It's a flex.
Is it just Gavin? Is it just all a troll? Is that what's going on?
That has to be. Nobody's that stupid.
Well, John said Jesus is just a troll.
Mm-hmm.
Well, John's a troll for sure. Deluxe.
Yeah, they're trying to fit Jesus in with them. They're trolling. So, Gavin, come on, buddy. Do you want to start over again? I have no beef with you, man.
Come on, Gavin. Okay, got your tongue.
Gavin.
I don't have a beef with you, Junior.
Gavin. All right then. So, where do you want to start back off, Gavin?
Oh,
What do you do for a living?
I'm not fast. I'm not fast. None of your business.
Oh, all right then. Fine.
I have a complaint about Gavin. Gavin, could you stop putting weird smiley faces at the end of every message you send in chat?
Oh, that is actually a good one. Yeah, Gavin, are you actually smiling or is it like sarcasm?
I think emojis in chat are usually trolling, right?
Oh, the room's ended.
He said, quote, "I was tugging on heartstrings." Which is just a psychopathic fucking response.
It's kind of funny.
Hogan, did you hear my son debate John Lee?
I moderated it.
Oh shit! So you did. Sorry, you did.
Yeah.
You weren't even needed. They were so polite to each other. It was great.
Yeah, I didn't have to say or do anything, and I think your son absolutely fucking demolished him.
Yeah, I think so too. But I might be biased.
I mean, he rattled off 20 examples of American imperialism, and all John could say was "but terrorism" or something.
Yeah, it was pretty weak, wasn't it?
Who's Peter Denny? Deny? Whatever, let's put him on stage. See what he has to say.
Hello, Peter.
What are your views, Peter?
Peter, who are you?
Who are you, Peter?
No pressure.
What kind of wine are you drinking in that photo?
It's a white Zinfandel.
Thanks, Scorpion.
How do you know that?
I don't. I'm just guessing based off the color.
You could have made up a bullshit answer like, oh, the refraction of the light, it's only shown in this specific brand. You could have gotten away with it.
The particulate density of the wine can only mean it's a 46 Comer or some bullshit
exactly.
Like that.
46 Comer, yeah.
I'm only slightly clever.
Matt Adams, did you listen to a 17-year-old absolutely demolish John Lee on foreign policy?
Maybe Dazzle.
No, actually, I did not. That's why I was just asking, when did this take place, so I could listen.
This is an example of a kid spanking an adult, Matt. Pretty strange for you.
I just looked around. What was the room? Oh, I can't remember.
Atheists. It was just atheists. It's atheists are rational, and I know that because I forgot to do some faux outrage thing about how you misspelled the time.
Oh fuck! Did I? That's embarrassing.
Actually,
well, anyway.
I don't think I've noticed, Haiti, that I've misspelled two, and I've actually proofread them before I sent them out. And when I posted them, they were wrong.
Yeah, it's probably
so I don't
just
know
a
what
glitch.
the heck's going on.
Yeah, it's a glitch mixing the I and the E, probably. But
Yeah, guys, it was a glitch instead of a typo.
I'm gonna go with that.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go.
Well,
yeah,
Scorpion.
The replays are on, Matt. If you want to listen.
Okay, I might check it out.
Yeah.
Scorpion and I have been talking about having a debate, but we haven't really decided on a topic. The last thing we talked about was truth, about something about truth, but that seems to be a bit vague. So, do y'all guys have any suggestions on what we could debate?
Hang on. No. I define truth as that which comports to reality. You would define truth as that which comports to the mind of God. Is that true? Or?
I define truth as Jesus Christ.
So how the fuck am I supposed to engage in a debate like that, Matt? That doesn't make any sense. I have to assume that Jesus exists to debate you.
Yeah,
that's
exactly.
Stupid.
That's why I think that debate would be...
It's because you're a weasel and you know that I'm going to fuck you up and you don't want to do it.
Well, what would you like to debate?
I'd like to debate you on your presuppositions, actually, but you're afraid to do that.
Oh, my presupposition? Well, I thought you wanted to debate presuppositional apologetics.
Well, that is. You're being silly.
So
you're just
being
to debate on why I believe.
Topic of the debate could be precept apologetics is garbage, and then Matt, you could try and
argue that. Yeah, I haven't really studied. I mean, I know about Van Til and I know about.
You were in a room today about fucking.
But
who was it?
I would not
Bonson.
Debate that. I mean, yeah, Greg Bonson. Yeah, but Silver Star. If you wanted to debate somebody on that, I'd recommend.
No.
Silver Star.
I want to debate you, man. I don't want to debate. I don't know Silver Star. I want to debate you.
Silver Star is kind of the probably expert here on presuppositions besides Darth, but Silver Star actually knows that he's very keen on the history and all of that as well. So
I don't care about any of that.
Darth would be the guys I would say you would want to debate on that topic.
I don't care about that. I want to debate you because I want to debate you because I think you're a weasel and I want to expose you.
You just debate me on why I'm a Christian, and I'll explain to you why I'm a Christian.
That's not a debate. That's
why you're
fucking preaching.
And
that's not a debate.
Well, I mean, no, kind of like Tom was going to have Jack question Darth for like $500. How about this would be you question me on my position, I question you on your position, and in the end we can talk about who has the more rational position.
That doesn't even, I don't know, that seems silly. It'd be more interesting with Darth. Darth is an interesting character. I want to debate you because you keep going around saying that you beat Tom. I've never debated before, and I think it would be fun to beat you in the first debate I ever had publicly.
Well,
that's why I want to debate you.
I do think I beat Tom, but yeah, I would definitely be interested in having a debate with you.
Okay, well, let's fucking debate about presuppositional apologetics.
Matt, you did not
presuppositional apologetics. See, I call myself a presupposition, but I don't know what you mean by presuppositional apologetics.
You just said that word 5 minutes ago.
Okay, so basically what I would do in the debate is why I presuppose God. That would be it. As far as presuppositional apologetics, I don't even really know the history of it. How it
okay, that's fine. I don't either. So do you want to debate about the evidence for God then?
Evidence for God?
Why you believe in God? Is that what you want to debate?
Sure.
Is it my proposal, Tom, was that we debate which is a better path to truth, and he made all these weird fucking equivocations about terms that make no sense, so that I would have to acknowledge God exists.
Be interested in that. Which is a more reliable pathway to truth?
That's what I texted you this morning, and you said it was too vague. Dude, you want to do?
I say we debate which is a better pathway to truth, atheism or Christianity. You argue that atheism is a better pathway to truth. I argue Christianity is a better pathway to truth.
That's fine, but you can't define truth as Jesus Christ. That's kind of fucked up.
Well,
you know that, right?
If we're taking my position, you're kind of forcing yourself into going with what I say. If you want to define truth as that which corresponds with reality from your perspective, I would be more than happy to allow you to do that. I could say truth is that which corresponds with the teachings and life of Jesus Christ.
Tom, do you think that's fair?
I think Tom is AFK right now.
Okay. Jack, do you think that's fair?
Sorry, what was the question?
So I want to debate Matt Adams, and the topic is going to be which is a better path to truth, Christianity or atheism? But we're both, our definitions of truth are different. Mine is that which comports to reality. His is that which comports to the mind of God. Is that a fair debate for me to take, or should I?
Well, it doesn't make sense to debate which is a better path to truth if by truth you mean two different things.
That's what I'm saying. Like, that it doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, I would
we'd
never
have to agree on a truth.
Truth is that which corresponds with reality. So I guess we could never.
Can you define
that has
truth?
nothing to do with atheism, though.
Can you define truth
that's
without
what
God
I
in
thought
it?
too, but no, I don't think you can have truth without God.
Then let's just debate tag, dude.
What the heck is that?
The transcendental argument for God.
What the heck is that?
You're exhausting, dude. You're so fucking exhausting.
Yeah, you give me the premises for the transcendental argument. I'm not sure I'm familiar.
It's just.
And you won the debate with Tom. How do you think you won the debate against Tom? That's interesting.
Because he failed to point out any kind of logical contradiction in my view.
You're a weasel, Matt.
That was the whole purpose.
No, the problem of evil is pointing out a logical contradiction. You're supposed to say it's not.
I know. That was.
When you did.
That was.
And there was a point.
Was the whole point.
There was a point in the debate where Tom brought something up and you found no contradiction and you agreed with Tom. So therefore, Tom won the debate.
Well, he also found no contradiction in my syllogism either. So therefore, I won the debate, right?
No,
I just don't understand why you're so afraid of debating a novice debater who knows almost nothing about philosophy.
Do you remember the six? Oh, I don't know much about philosophy either.
Okay, I've never debated. How many debates have you won, Matt?
Undefeated. I don't know.
Exactly. So why are you so concerned about like the specifics of the topic?
Wait, Matt, which is it? Is it I don't know or is it undefeated? Because you go undefeated, I don't know. So what is it?
He asked me how many I won. I said I don't know. I'm undefeated.
Okay, so which is it?
I don't know.
Are you undefeated?
I won. I'm just undefeated.
That does not make any sense. If you're undefeated, that would entail you've won every debate.
No, he doesn't know how many.
Yeah, I don't remember how many I won. I didn't keep count. So, John, what do you think Scorpion and I should debate? What would be a good thing?
Don't ask John Lee. He's just going to bloviate for an hour.
Does God exist?
I'll give you some advice.
Yeah, we're trying to figure out a topic. I thought one. I don't know what your position is, but which would be more benefit?
How about this?
Which would more benefit a society? Christianity or atheism?
I was just going to say that.
Yeah.
Why is that relevant?
It's too subjective. There's no way to win that
Because
argument.
Haiti, you have been caught admitting that y'all want to deconvert people from Christianity.
I think it's not
so
true.
Obviously, you think atheism is more beneficial.
What is better?
No, that's because I think it's not true. I don't think people should believe things that aren't true. I actually think that religion does have some utility for society, but I think it's more important to believe true things.
Yeah, but Scorpion, do you think that atheism would be better for society than religion?
I think this is a really bad debate topic.
Yes, I do, but that gets into ethics, and ethics are subjective, so there's no real way to win that argument.
It's not like a fact of the matter, right?
Well, I mean, when you have things like GDP or just literacy,
God, that sounds really boring.
There's certain metrics.
Yeah, but that sounds really boring.
Don't just say Fox News buzzwords. You have no idea what you're
Why don't you just debate the existence of God, guys?
I'm down. Let's go, Matt. It's easy.
Well,
It's
I
simple.
tend to take the position that I think that it's self-evident to everyone. Hey, I got it. How about, is God self-evident?
That's great. Yeah.
Fine. Yeah, that's easy. I can do
Yeah,
that.
that's
you would
almost
argue
a presupposition.
Sounds like it's on.
So
Sounds
you
like
would
it.
take the position that God is not self-evident.
Yeah.
I would take the position that God
that's a
is
good one.
self-evident.
Right.
That's a really good one.
That's fine.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Done.
Tom, do you want to put it on your channel? I don't think Tom's there, but I think you
Well,
should do
I
it on
think
Tom's
James
channel.
is tired has agreed to host it.
So more
I think it
people
makes a
watch
lot
Tom's
more
channel.
sense. Here's what I'll agree to,
No,
Matt.
that's a really good title.
John, hang on. If Tom accepts it and wants to do it, why don't we do it on Tom's channel, but James can moderate?
James could moderate, and then he could have it on his channel as well.
I'm sure Tom would be fine with that.
Whatever.
Okay, I'll take it.
Well, Tom might not want me on his channel anymore after.
Oh no, dude, you are great for his viewership. I'm sure he will.
He said that I was kind of dishonest last time.
Yeah, you were, but that's okay.
So that might be probably.
He has. I mean, I don't think that's going to be a bar to future.
He's all about business. He thinks Darth Dawkins is really dishonest, but he'll have him on his channel.
Yeah, that's a good point.
True.
He's great content. Yeah.
Okay, so we'll talk about when we want to do this. Maybe we'll confirm it with Tom. Maybe we'll maybe look at early August, early September, something like that.
Why so far away? What are you gonna do?
I'm kidding.
Next week. Well, what's wrong with June or July, Matt?
We could probably do it in maybe June or July.
One of those. Look, the kids are off school, right? You're done for the year.
We couldn't do it during July the 4th week.
I'm sorry.
Matt and you.
So easily.
Scorpion. Is God self-evident?
No.
No, it has to be God is self-evident, right? You're
God
taking
is
the positive.
Yeah, I will take the position that
I
God
hate when people throw around this term self-evident because there's like two different meanings.
Well, that's okay.
It doesn't get on them a lot.
Save it for debate.
Don't help him.
Save it for debate.
Yeah.
I don't know who came up with the.
Who's debating that?
Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm debating Matt.
What did you say, John?
Matt and Scorpion. God is self-evident. That's the debate title.
What did you say, John?
I just said I don't know who came up with it, but that's really a good title.
It's very good.
All right.
Katie did.
Oh, you're welcome.
I thought I did. Yeah.
Might have been Matt. But that's a good title.
We got with John Lee and put our heads together, and that's what we came up with.
Mm-hmm. And you could dabble in pre-sup with even that title, Matt.
Yeah, I could mix in a little precept, or I wouldn't have to.
Yeah,
I would love that. You should totally do that.
That title is precept. It doesn't get any more precept than that.
Well, you'll have to bone up on your precept, Matt.
Well,
I've Dawkins for help.
Yeah, I might get the legend himself.
You can bring him with you if you want. You know, I bet you
he'll help you.
The legend?
I think Dawkins.
Yeah, I think you will.
The legend.
He'll give you some PDFs, so on.
Pretty much.
John, why does God have the properties that he has and not some other properties?
Why is God God?
No, that's not what I asked. I asked why he has the properties he has.
Because that's the properties he has?
There's no explanation. There's no reason he has the properties he has.
I'm supposed to somehow know why God is the way God is? That doesn't, I mean...
No, it's rhetorical. I have an answer. I think I know the reason why. But I'm asking you why you think he has the properties he has.
I mean, I just think it's a tautology. It's just who he is. I am that I am. I will be that I will be. That's what God says.
Right, but like for example, he has a property of never lying. Is that correct?
Oh, okay, yeah. What about it?
I don't see why he couldn't have had the property of, say, always lying.
Because it is the case that God is good, holy, righteous, and according to these properties that he already has, it is consistent. Not lying is consistent with his nature.
I know lying is not consistent with his nature. I'm asking, why is lying not consistent with his nature?
Because he's God. I mean, I can't give you another explanation than that.
It's not really an explanation at all, is it?
No, it isn't. It wasn't meant to be.
So once again, you either don't know or you think that there's no reason why God has the properties he has?
I have no idea.
What if they they are what they are for no reason at all? Wouldn't that be a little nihilistic?
What if God is God for no reason at all? Is that what you're asking?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, I think that's the case. God is God for no reason. God exists for no reason. God has the property of telling the truth for no reason. It's all arbitrary. Could have been otherwise.
Well, I mean, why is God's nature the way God's nature is? I mean, I don't understand how you're supposed to come up with an explanation. I mean, when you get down to like God, it's like a primitive, and so you're trying to dig in deeper. I don't think it's possible.
I'm not really trying to dig in deeper. I'm asking you what you think about it. I don't think there can be a reason, right? God is, as you say, right? He's completely non-contingent. There can't be a reason why his properties are the way they are and not another way. But I would think that'd be, unsettling for the God believer, right? That God, for example, doesn't want people to suffer for no reason. It could have been otherwise, right? He could have, for example, made a world in which he wanted everyone to suffer as much as possible for his own benefit.
Wait, what makes you think God doesn't want
people to suffer?
Where do you get this idea that God doesn't want people to suffer?
Oh, it's just an aside. If his property is such that he wants people to suffer, then it could have been the opposite.
Yeah, I mean, God has no problem with people suffering. I'll tell you that much.
Because it's pro toto good.
Thank you, Darth.
If I was a Christian, I would be very, very troubled by the fact that God's properties are the way they are they're completely arbitrary. It could have been, anything else.
Well, what exactly do you mean by arbitrary?
I mean, literally, there's no reason for his properties to be the way they are and not another way.
I mean, whose reason are you saying? Like God's creator?
Any reason. There are no reasons.
There's no explanation for why. There's no explanation for why God has the type of properties that he possesses.
Yeah, I literally told him I don't know why God is the way God is.
Yeah, there's no explanation.
Right, I don't think there can be, to be honest.
What you mean there's no explanation of how God is?
Yeah, it's just a matter of understanding that God is.
Yeah, there's no explanation. There also isn't any explanation for the initial conditions of the universe. So.
Well, I mean, the universe is not uncaused.
Yeah, that's a really good point.
Well, it's a really good point. My point or John's point?
You're very low.
Seth's point.
Oh, no, you didn't have to speak louder. You meant your low T. But thank you.
That doesn't trouble you at all, John?
Not one iota. I mean, you can noodle over it all you want, if you wish to.
Well, there's nothing for me to noodle over, right?
Yeah, I won't lose any sleep over it. And if I don't have an answer for you as to why God is the way God is, I don't think that's answerable. And I'm comfortable with it, and it does not disturb me one bit that I have no answer for you.
I think it should disturb you. It would disturb me if I was a Christian. I'm not, so it doesn't really bother me. But
I think God is the way God is because God is just.
Right. God is the way he is because he's just.
Yeah, God is the way he is because he is a certain way.
No, he is the way he is because he's just.
Because he is a certain way. He's just. He could have been unjust, right?
He could have been unjust, but he's not unjust. That's why he is the truth.
So he's just because he's just?
Yeah, what does it mean to say that God is the truth? God is the person.
God is the person.
You're wondering what Jesus
Yeah, so
means
what?
by the truth?
Shut up, John. What does it mean to say that a person is somehow identical to, like, let's just say, to, like, to truth, to, like, some property, either abstract, or let's just
because
say...
truth is the epitome of fairness.
Yeah, this guy. I mean, okay, buddy.
No, that's not.
You can believe.
Well, I have to believe that because God's law, for example, the Ten Commandments are based upon what I believe is the truth.
Is that Foxy? Did he go quiet, or did I go quiet?
I think you went quiet.
I think the room's gone quiet.
Yeah.
Who's Foxy?
Sounds like him, but maybe it's not.
Hey, Matt, do you ever wonder why God is the way he is? Have you ever pondered it at all, or considered, or thought about it?
I don't know. Not really, I don't think. Not in depth.
What is the definition of how God is?
What are you asking?
Look, John, you pointing out that other Christians have buried their heads in the sand over the subject doesn't really help you.
It's not irrelevant.
No, I was just genuinely curious.
Peter, what was your question?
I said, what's the definition of how God is?
Well, it's not a question for a theist.
God is a disembodied.
Well, someone just asked a question.
Well, what do you think? Aren't you a Christian?
I think God is the way he is because he's the epitome of truth and justfulness.
But that is the way he is. You're saying he is the way he is because the way he is. You're taking the question.
The reason why he is the way he is because it's based on truth and being just.
But he is truth, so it's based off of himself.
Well,
That's why he's the way he is.
But why is he... Oh, so you're saying because he embodies truth, he has to be the way he is?
Yeah.
Okay, but we're all the way we are.
It's like saying Peter is exactly Peter tall. Why is Peter tall? Because he's as tall as Peter is.
Yeah.
That's only if you make that's only if you make the equation to God. But we're not God, so we can't make that equation.
We're still the way we are.
How about this?
Yeah, you are the way you are.
I'm just saying it's Peter. All I'm saying is it's vacuous, right? We're not really saying anything.
But look,
but
we're
Seth,
the
why
way
are
we
the
are, and
actions
we're not
and
the
logic the way
epitome.
they are?
Right, so it can't be the epitome of truth makes someone the way they are, because we're all the way we are, and we are not the epitome of truth. So if you got something...
But we're not God. We're talking about God.
I understand we're not God. I understand that.
And I said, what makes God? God is the epitome of truth.
Yeah, you're just repeating yourself, and I just pointed out...
I know because you keep
You keep making a strawman argument and equating my answer to mankind, and you can't equate my answer to mankind. I'm equating my answer to God.
Listen,
not mankind.
What was your question, John?
Your claim is that God is the way he is because he's the epitome of truth, right?
Yes.
Okay, we are the way we are. So it can't hinge on being the epitome of truth.
Real? Wait, hold on.
Well, we could tell you why we are the way we are.
Wait. Shut up. Shut up, John. Is that the real Dan Barker down in the?
Yeah, I don't know, but Seth, my question was.
You don't know who Dan Barker is?
Why is the axioms of logic the way they are? Do you have an answer for that?
Not with that few followers, but yeah, John. The way that logic is I think it's probably a brute fact.
Are you the real Dan Barker? Which is a dumb question. Dan?
Not with that few followers, I would think.
Dan. I don't know how to unmute. Did I unmute right?
Yes.
Oh yeah. So yeah, this is Dan Barker, but I only have a couple minutes.
No way.
I'm just popping in for, and I have no idea what you guys are talking about. I just popped in about 30 seconds ago. So.
Well, welcome.
Yeah. Well, we're just wondering why God is the way he is.
Well, if God is a fiction, then he's the way the authors made him to be.
Well, it sounds like Dan Barker, that's for sure.
And if God is not a fiction, what would that mean?
Well, it would mean he's real, but then you have to define what it is.
The definition of the way God is that your right and wrong morality is based upon biblical morality.
That doesn't sound like a definition. That sounds like a declaration.
And God declared this. God made a declaration within the teachings of the Bible.
Well, there you go. You know, I used to believe the Bible, but the Bible's not reliable. The Bible's not a good book of truth. And the Bible contradicts itself. The Bible has a lot of horrible moral teachings in it. The Bible was written by ignorant people. It has a little bit of truth in it, but if you base a definition of God on the Bible, then he is a God we should detest, not admire.
Can you give me some?
I just realized Silver Star sounds like Dan Barker.
Dan, do you mind? Wait. I could confirm or deny that he is. Dan, you happen to have an argument that states that God's infallibility is incompatible with him having free will. Do you mind expanding upon that? Yeah, but I only have about 2 minutes. I got to get going here. I call it FANG, F-A-N-G, the free will argument for the non-existence of God. And, of course, it depends on your definition, but most people believe, and most Christians believe, that God has free will, regardless of what you think about humans, and there's a debate. Christians don't even agree among themselves about free will for humans, but at least they all agree that God has free will. But if you know the future, you can't have free will, because free will requires a period of uncertainty before you make your final decision. And if you know the future, that puts extreme limits on your power. It also puts limits on your freedom. Therefore, a God who is a personal being, who has free will, who knows the future, cannot exist. It's mutually incompatible. It's an illogical. It'd be like arguing for the existence of a married bachelor. It's incoherent before you even try to argue for his existence. You don't even have a definition that holds water. That's just one of the many so-called arguments from incompatible properties.
Yeah, but why couldn't God know the future? Because he decreed the future freely.
Well, yeah, if he knows the future, as you say, then he doesn't have free will. Something's got to give.
No, you misunderstood my point, sir. I'm saying that God decrees the future, and therefore he knows the future. He freely decreed the future, and he just happens to know the results of the future.
So God knows what he's going to do tomorrow at 12 noon. Between now and tomorrow at 12 noon, he has no ability to change his mind. The future is fixed in his mind. Therefore, it's completely deterministic. He has no freedom to change his mind and do something other than what he robotically has done. There might be a God who's powerful. There might be a God who has free will. There might be a God who's omniscient. But there can't be a God who's all of those things at once.
Yeah, I would argue that he can be all of those things at once, and it's the case that, once again, it is not that he's locked into the future that he's determined. It is that he freely determined the future, and so I don't understand why you think that he's somehow subject to his own will in the determination. He freely created.
Because he can't change his mind. That's what free will means, that you have the ability to do otherwise. The definition of free will that most philosophers adhere to is, and not all of them do, but most of them adhere to the definition that you could have done otherwise. If you cannot have done otherwise, then by definition you don't have free will. It's a definitional thing.
I wouldn't agree with that definition. I mean, I don't know who's making up these definitions, but I would consider God immutable. That's a definition. God is unchanging. So where do you get that immutability is somehow in contradiction to free will? I would claim that it's not.
He's saying infallibility is, not immutability specifically.
No, I'm saying immutability precludes freedom. You don't have free will if you are immutable. You cannot change. You are a pre-programmed robot, let's say, or a computer program. So maybe you can have some of those characteristics, but you can't have all of them. It's like being a married bachelor. You can be a married person, or you can be a bachelor, but you can't be both.
I think Scott Clifton has an argument that says that the God of classical theism is the most limited being in the world, right, or imaginable, right? He's the most limited. When it comes to free will, he's the most limited being imaginable, right? He has to do exactly as he foresees.
Yeah.
Is that Scott Clifton? That's the actor?
Theoretical bullshit. Yeah.
Just to say, there are some theists who are necessitarians. Just to let you know.
All right. Well, then they're going to have to tinker with their definitions. In any event, all you have is a definition. You don't have a God. You just have definitions. So, if you even could get off the ground and come up with a coherent definition, you still need evidence. You still need good argument. You still need to overcome a lot of humps. For example, the fact that there's no agreement among believers about this God. Even though Paul told them to be of one mind, there should be no disagreement among you. But you can hardly think of a book that's more disagreeable than the Bible. The fact that there's no good reply to the problem of evil, the fact that there's, no reliability to these so-called holy books that are internally contradictory and immoral. So definition is just the first step. And I don't know anyone who's really some people argue for a natural God, and maybe that would be coherent, a being who's subject to limitations of nature. Maybe he's just a really powerful creature. Maybe that kind of definition would.
Yeah, just a side question, Dan. Are you part of the Clergy Project by any chance?
Yeah, I'm one of the founders of it.
Oh wow! Wow. Okay, so my question is, did you ever know God?
I thought I did, yeah. I felt the Holy Spirit. I got goosebumps. I had this presence in my mind that convinced me that God was real, but I now know that it's an internal delusion.
So could it possibly be that if we're talking about definitions
Where's
here,
my curry?
and according to
Excuse me, I've just blocked you. I didn't like what you said when you came into the last stream. It's been edited out. I couldn't care less what you think of that. Don't come into my studio and start saying stuff about Jesus that goes contrary to Scripture.
Well, a Christian is a
I don't
person
expect
who claims
everybody
to be a
to believe
follower
what
of
the
Christ.
Bible says, of course, but I do expect somebody who says he's some sort of Christian to do so. Not out of forcing yourself to do it. But don't come in my studio, right? I mean, I was polite enough to let you in. Don't come in my studio and start saying stuff
Yeah, well, that's just one definition, and that excludes
about Jesus
excludes
Christ.
billions of people. A lot of Christians like to boast. There's a billion
I mean, you don't
Christians
believe
on
in
the
Jesus
planet,
Christ
but
forgiveness
actually, there's only a
anymore.
few hundred if you
Blah
follow their
blah,
particular
whatever.
theology.
Yeah, go somewhere else. Go into Praise I Am channel and talk your garbage over there. Don't come into my studio doing it. Praise would appreciate your presence. I'm confident of it.
Well, I used to think that. I used to believe it. I used to feel it. I used to get goosebumps. I used to see what I was convinced were answers to prayer. I used to see what I thought were miracles, and they were very affirming. But
you need to rethink.
There's nothing that convinces me now that any of that was happening outside of my own brain. All religions make those claims. I've debated Hindus. I've debated Muslims. They all say the same thing that Christians say. Yeah, I have an inner awareness
I know what you
of
like,
the
not
presence of
perfectly,
Shiva.
of course.
And I talked to one Hindu astrologer who got tears in his eyes
Weird.
because he was so sorry for me that I didn't feel the presence of Shiva with, you know what I mean? So this internal, this subjective experience, it's just inside the brain. That's all it is.
Yeah, now, you know, when Matt Dillonty was asked the question, he said, "Is that's how you're going to define it? I was never a true Christian." But he also says, "I don't think anyone's a true Christian." That was his answer. That he acknowledges that he was never a true Christian if he went by that definition. But if we went by that definition, would you also agree, Dan, that you were never a true Christian?
Well, if I wasn't, the Bible says you shall know them by their fruits, not by what they say. And my life exhibited all of the fruits of the Spirit. I saw people born again. I performed faith healings occasionally. I was, and I felt the Spirit. So if you go by what the Bible says, that you know them by their fruit, if I was not a true Christian, then nobody is. Neither are you.
Well, I would assert that the only one who determines who is and who is not a Christian would be God himself on that day of judgment, right? But I guess what I'm saying is, I guess you're disagreeing that Christianity is necessarily the knowledge of Father, Son, and Holy Spirit.
There's a whole bunch of ways to define Christianity, but the most broad way, a Christian is a person who claims to be a follower of Christ. You might think they're not following Christ correctly, but they're not Buddhists, they're not Hindus, they're not Satanists. They are Christians because they claim to be followers of Christ. Maybe they lack something according to your theology, but maybe you lack something according to their theology. So in the broad definition, I think Matt might be true, and I would agree with him by saying, I wasn't a true Christian because nobody can be a true Christian in the sense of actually experiencing God. That's impossible. You can have a mental experience, and that's real. I had a real mental experience, but that just convinced me within my own brain that my delusion was something real, when now I know better. It wasn't real at all. Yeah, I gotta go. I'm sorry. Horns honking out here.
Thank you, Dan.
All right.
Good to hear you talk, Dan.
Come back, Dan. Come back.
Wow. The man, the myth, the legend, Dan Barker. And
John, thank you for behaving yourself.
Yeah.
John, you got folded again.
Well, obviously, but maybe Daz will put it on Clubhouse Debates.
I've listened to quite a few of his discussions and lectures on YouTube when John said, "Are you Dan Barker of the Clergy Project?" I'm like, "What?" And I clicked on his profile, and sure enough, that's him.
You guys, the Clergy Project really chaffs your ass, doesn't it?
No, actually, it doesn't really chat me. I actually use it to my advantage in discussions with atheists.
No, I really enjoyed the way he answered, because the other people in the Clergy Project, I asked that question, "Did you ever know God?" They get really hostile, and Dan did not. I really appreciate it.
John trolls ex-pastors who've lost their faith, presumably in a quite devastating way.
and he goes to their support group and trolls them.
I just asked him if they ever knew God. That's all I asked.
No, I'm sure you do more than that.
Well, I do a little bit more than that.
There you go.
Yeah.
Well, who does?
Okay, they kicked me out of the group.
Yeah, they
Yeah, who does actually know God, though? So
Well,
the fact
there's
you
a
asked
link
that
to the
question,
clergy project.
who can answer it honestly?
Put it in.
Well,
who does know God?
It was very interesting. He had that whole like mental experience, and now he realizes it was just a delusion.
Yeah. And I like what he said. There is no true Christian. So I mean, I like that.
Right, that's what actually Matt Dillonty said as well. He doesn't believe there are any true Christians, but he was acknowledging that if the definition is that, then he acknowledges it was never a true Christian.
So, what was his argument that God can't have free will because he knows the future?
I mean, John Lee.
I personally think it's weak.
Come on.
No, it's not weak. It actually makes sense because God can.
No, it actually does make sense.
If he's immutable, if he can't be changed, then that means the future's set, so he cannot make a change to the future. So therefore, he does not have free will.
Mm-hmm.
Change based on what criteria? That's what needs to be established first.
Look, if you know the future, right? You know what you're going to do next Tuesday. Do you follow me so far, Peter?
I get what you're saying, but what I'm saying to you is it's like that's the same argument monotheists come with Christianity in regards to the Trinitarian belief, and I say to them all the time, What if?
What are you talking about?
What if? I'm trying to explain.
Well, I asked you whether you followed the argument, right? I didn't ask for anything else because I was going to ask you a follow-up. You understand?
I think his argument is a nonsense.
Right. So let's go back. I asked you if you understood the concept. God knows the future. He knows what he's going to do next Tuesday. You agree, right?
I understand that perfectly.
Right. Terrific. So if he knows what he's going to do next Tuesday, how can he do something different next Tuesday?
Dan Barker.
Because if he decides to give a creation a free will, and he removes himself from knowing what's going to go in the creation,
what I said.
Then that's acceptable.
How is that relevant to what I said?
Because I'm removing his all-knowing from his creation.
Well, I wasn't talking about his creation. I was talking about what God's doing next Tuesday.
And what I'm saying to you, but you're limiting that, and you're
Jesus, you're dumb.
Making that sacrilege, and I'm going, that's not sacrilege.
This is what they do.
What the?
If he creates a creation that has free will, then God has to remove himself from the free will of the creation he's created.
No, Peter, it has nothing to do with creation. This is about him being immutable, unchangeable, meaning the set schedule of events for Tuesday is set. He cannot change that event.
In his world.
Or
our world.
Hey, we're talking about God. This could happen in creation.
I don't know. But in our world.
We're talking about whether God has
our world or God's world.
Okay, let's try this again. Sans, do you know what sans means, Peter? It means out, without, right? Sans creation, God knows what he's doing next Tuesday.
Hello, Gavin.
Right?
How are you?
So forget creation.
Hey, did you say Sam's?
Look, I said sans. S-A-N-S. Oh my God. S-A-N-S.
Regardless of creation. How about that?
Forget about creation, right? Creation is not a factor in this conversation. If he knows what he's going to do next Tuesday, how can he do something different? That is the question.
In his world or our world?
Holy shit.
Because I can't answer for God in his world. I can answer the question if you're going to base it in our world.
Okay, based upon the information of God being immutable, God being unchangeable, the future is set for Tuesday. If God wants to do something different, he can't. Therefore, he does not have free will.
Why is that so hard to understand? I don't get it.
Entrepreneur millionaire.
Well, actually, Darth seemed to be thinking that they're not necessarily mutually exclusive.
Who said that?
And,
well, that might be.
It seemed like Dan disagreed with Darth.
I'm not saying I'm convinced. I was just asking about it, and Peter here seems to want to talk about something else.
Because I don't think your question is exclusive to any criteria.
It's about God.
The idea is...
But I can't answer for God because God is outside my realm.
Oh, but you know what he wants, right?
Well, but that...
God is
well, if you're
outside
just
your
saying
realm, is
that,
he?
then you're just going to appeal to mystery.
Doesn't the
But
Holy
appealing to
Godhead
mystery
bodily
doesn't,
dwell
like,
within
show
you?
the
I
argument.
can only answer based upon the biblical scripture that I know. That's the only way I can answer.
Okay, then it's not... There's no point in talking to him.
But I did want to know, Darth.
Never heard of Dan Parker.
Is being immutable and free mutually exclusive?
No. But look,
That's what I thought.
his
Yeah,
argument,
I'm fine, thanks,
is
Gavin.
just saying this.
I'm
Suppose
just,
you take it that in order for an agent to deliberate,
I don't want to sleep.
they
Sleep
need to
seems
be
to be a waste of
uncertain
time,
about the outcome of their deliberation. Right? Like,
during the day.
they're aware of the choices that they're going to
3
make,
o'clock here, 3 o'clock
but they
in the
don't
morning,
have,
yeah.
like, full epistemic access to what's going to transpire after the fact, after they take that choice. What he's just saying is that if God knows the future and you define knowledge as a justified true belief, and you're adding in the other condition that it's like epistemically necessary, that, well, I mean, in this case it's redundant, but if he knows all the facts, then it's epistemically necessary that he does fact A over fact B. Dan Barker is just saying if it's epistemically necessary that God does fact A over fact B, he can't choose otherwise, because if he did have the ability to choose otherwise, it wouldn't have been necessary for him to do A over B. It would have been a contingent fact.
I mean, it just seemed to me he was contradicting. He was not agreeing with you. Was I wrong? I mean, that's what it seemed.
I didn't make a claim, but that's his argument. Now, his argument is just saying that if you know the future in a way that you can't be wrong about it, you can't choose to act in a way that could be otherwise to how that future already is necessarily. That's what he's saying. The future is such a way where you can't act. Well, Dan Barker is saying that the future is closed. The future is such a way where you can't act out of accordance with the way it is, because it's necessary that the future is the way it is. Something.
Yeah, but I would agree with that. The Bible's saying that the future is the way, like Christ coming right when he did, Christ coming back right when he will. All of these things.
Well, then you're just
exactly
conceding the argument. So then you conceded the argument.
Do you agree, John?
No, what I'm
Either
saying
you
is about the free will part.
Okay, then you just deny that he has free will. There you go.
No, you're saying that like whatever's happening is already freely decided. That's what I'm trying to say.
That's just begging.
That's
just begging the question.
Gavin, did you know that John Lee
He's denying
is
that
an
you
evolutionist?
can act freely.
He says he's a
had all the
Christian.
information and you knew everything.
He's an evolutionist.
So that's a terrible response. It's actually a baseless response.
Yeah, but wouldn't that make him?
I would
make
say
him
that
a more
he knows
free
what
being?
he's going to do because he's freely chosen to do so.
Yeah, because he
even before he did it.
deliberates. He does this, and he's not tempted to do otherwise, it seems like. So that would actually make him more free than the situation we're in which we could come up with a plan, and then circumstances would come up where we would be forced to change.
Well,
so it would make us less free, right?
I mean, that's just gibberish. But, John, the idea here is he's just saying that if you had knowledge of all the future, it implies that the future is closed. The future is such a way where you can't act out of accordance with it, right? You can't choose to be out of accordance with how the facts actually. Well,
yeah, but it seemed like he just arbitrarily decided.
He's just saying that he can't act out of accordance with the way.
Yeah, and that's where I disagree with his definition of free will, in the sense that that he's saying that free will is such that you can act out of that. And I don't agree with that definition. I don't know where he came up with it.
He's just saying.
Is that a philosophical definition?
He's actually right here. As long as you define free will as the ability to choose otherwise, right? Then obviously, if God doesn't have the ability to choose otherwise, right, or in this case, to act in accordance with the way the future is, because the future is fixed in such a way, it just follows from that you think that God doesn't have free will.
Right. No, in that case, I would agree. If he's going to define free will that way, yes, I would agree he's correct. What I'm saying is I don't agree at all. That's how free will is defined.
You just want to redefine free will.
What is the common understanding of free will in philosophy? What he said?
Libertarianism, the ability to choose otherwise. I mean, I understand what compatibilists are saying by freedom most of the time. They just seem to redefine freedom as like some action which, if you take in consideration to what the action is, what the actor is deliberating on, they're not, let's say, restricted to act on let's say what they desire, right? They're not restricted. They're not drugged. What's the other example? I mean, you could give thousands of examples, right?
Yeah. But what would be the case if God freely chooses to do what is right, what is best, what is proper, and even though the other option's there, he just doesn't want to do it?
Well, then you're not addressing his critique, then, because he's just talking about libertarian free will, and you're just redefining free will into something unintelligible. I don't know what you mean when you say that God can freely choose, right? And somehow all his actions are necessary. That doesn't make any sense to me.
No, not that his actions are necessary, but that once he freely chooses, what is chosen necessarily must conform to what he chose.
You agreed earlier that that whatever God does is in accordance with his essence, right? Or at least identical.
That's correct.
Okay, are his actions identical to his essence?
Well, I mean, as far as like divine simplicity and will and pure act and all that stuff, I think in that sense it is actually.
Okay, so there you go. So if God's actions are necessary, then that's just going to be incompatible with free will. Because free will is just going to adopt a... well, I understand free will is a contingentarian thesis, not one out of necessity. That doesn't make any sense. How could you be free if it was necessary for you to do one thing?
Well, it was not that it was necessary that he did one thing. It was that he chose to do that one thing. And whatever he chose to do...
Yeah, that's just begging the question against what I'm saying. I'm saying that those things are incoherent. Look, if you're saying that God is free, but he's also a being that acts necessarily, you're both saying that you're saying this, right? You're saying it's the case that God acts necessarily, and it's not the case. Yeah, and it's not the case that God acts necessarily, and that's a contradiction.
Right, but well, I mean, the things that he acted, I would say the things that he acted upon must necessarily conform to what he has acted upon. That's how I would look at it.
Acted upon.
Right.
Just saying the things that he actualized. Well, first of all, I don't understand that. But second of all, this is irrelevant. You just agreed that was a contradiction. So there you go. You're just being incoherent.
I like the way I look at it, like all of these acts of God, quote unquote, right? These have been already determined before the world was even created. So
I don't know.
He freely decided to do that, and so he's acting upon what he freely decided. He just can't change his mind. Before the world, I freely decided this, and then, you know what, I'm going to change it up a little bit from what I originally planned. Like he has to do what he already freely decided to do.
He has to do what he freely has to.
Or
there kind of implies that it's necessary, but you're saying freely chose to, which just means that it wasn't necessary. That's just a contradiction.
No, I don't think you understand what I'm saying. So before he created anything, he didn't have to create, but he freely chose to create. Now, once he freely chose to create, well, there's a whole beginning and an end to his creation. It's not like he creates and then things unfold, and he's ever learning.
Well, he does want
learning.
Unfold, so that's for sure. But you're just saying. Look, do you understand that if you say when you say that God acts freely, you understand that that's just to say that God acts in a way that could be otherwise.
Right. He acts in a way that could be otherwise, but he had determined freely to do, so he does what he's determined to do. He does not change his mind.
And what did you say earlier? You said earlier that God's actions were necessary, which just means that they couldn't have been otherwise.
No, I'm
this
talking about
dumbass just blatantly. You contradicted yourself harder than anybody ever seen.
No. Here's the thing, okay?
How did you fold yourself?
No, the thing I'm trying to say, Darth, is it's not like God is deciding things as in real time. And so today's this. I'm here, God. I'm going to decide this. And I have another choice and
Gavin,
this and that. No, it's not. And then tomorrow it's the same thing. I have this free will here, and I have this
John
choice.
Lee
I'm not going to do that. No, he freely chose to decide before the foundations of the world. And once he decided, it must necessarily obey the will of God.
Detroyer, what did he think about that? I mean, it was just like...
Is he just equivocating again when he says, must obey the will of God? He's equivocating, right?
He might be equivocating.
No, there's what's called a counsel of his own will.
Might be
Wait, no, God is one. He's not plural. He doesn't counsel himself. That's fucking heresy. Don't be stupid. Also,
that's scriptural.
You said
that's fucking heresy. He's just equivocating on has to, right? Because on the one hand, what he might mean
absolutely,
is that there's like some obligation, like some deontic. I don't know.
There's an obligation for God to abide by his own will.
Well, I mean, that's weird coming from the fact.
Why would he
that's weird coming from the fact that you think that God is the standard for all morality. He could either mean two things: either that there is like some moral obligation for him to create, or it's just like, I don't know, logically necessary or necessary under some other modality for him to create. In which case, it's not going to be interpreted normatively.
I don't understand what morality has to do with the free will part.
You're equivocating. You're either using has to in an obligatory sense, or you're using has to in like a modal sense where it's necessary for him to.
No, what I'm saying is it's not that it's necessary for him to create, right? I'm not a necessitarian in that way that he had to create. But what I am saying is, once he freely decided to create, every single little action within a temporal sense within that has... I mean, it's not I'm not a necessity. You're talking about God, right? About what God is doing. I don't... Like, here's
John, are you on the fucking pills again? Are you taking that oxy? What's wrong with you?
No, here's the thing, okay? It seems like you're going back and forth with God's free will and human free will, which is not the same thing.
Okay, let's say I did go back and forth. So what? Compatibilist free will implicator, no matter to what agent it's applied to, that thesis itself is going to be incompatible with this whole claim that you made about like God necessitating everything in the universe post-creation.
I have a question. Are you saying that compatibilist free will for the created agent is incoherent with a God having libertarian free will. Is that what you're saying?
No.
Okay, then what's the problem?
The problem is you think all events in this universe are necessitated by God's will, right?
Correct.
Those creation, but then in the same breath you're saying something like some events, given that some events are like, I don't know, caused in a way that's like free by the agent, but it's a compatibilist notion of free. If it's a compatibilist notion of freedom, then the agent in question wasn't necessitated to act in the way they.
No, they weren't. Well,
so that you.
I kind of see what you're saying. I mean, to me, that they do have a will, right? And they are acting in accordance with that will. And so, whether it's like sinful nature, they are. If you're getting creaturely, in a sense, compatibilist free will, they are acting in that way. So it's compatible with the determination that God has made.
Wow, great! That was totally not.
That was gibberish. Is that what you said?
Yes.
I don't see it as gibberish. I mean, I see it as being coherent. Maybe the issue is I can't express it in a way that you can understand it.
John is the only person on Earth, right? Well, some exceptions, but one of the few people on Earth that defines coherent as incoherent.
He's just so... John, your problem is you try to use too much fucking jargon that you think works. You've convinced yourself in like 10 years of repeating the same shit on Facebook.
No, my issue is that I don't know philosophical terminology.
Admittedly, that you rattle off like the same canned phrases. Now you're fucking stuck in a loop. Like
so what you were talking about, Darth, about the necessitarian part of it, I don't necessarily know if it is post creation, some sort of necessitarian, in the sense that this was just more like foreknown.
So then, okay, so then drop the claim that you were making earlier. Just say I don't know. You save a lot of it. You save.
No. It's not that I don't know. I have a good idea, but of exactly what's going on according to Scripture. But if you're saying there's some sort of contradiction in it, I personally don't see a contradiction. But maybe if I'm not explaining it right and you hear it a certain way, well, certainly there would be a contradiction. If you're hearing something that I'm really not saying because I can't express it accurately or precisely.
Well, if you can't, then shut up.
Well,
it would be incumbent upon me to actually learn the terminology in philosophy and then be able to translate to you my understanding, which in my mind it's coherent, but maybe the way I express it and then the way you receive it is such that I'm saying something I'm not actually, and then you
just
say
got a rare terminal disease called Facebook brain. And I'm so sorry you were stricken with it.
Well, I mean, Facebook, I didn't have too much of these type of discussions. That's for sure.
Never heard that one
I had a whole bunch of "Prove Your God."
I remember that one.
Said about 1,000 times every.
Well, those people also have like Facebook brain, but that's fine. What's going on?
Wow.
Maybe there's just a contradiction in what I'm saying, because the non-contradictory version of what I want to say is not the words that come out of my fucking mouth.
Yeah, I mean, if it were the case that it was some kind of problem philosophically, I don't think there'd be a lot of people in the systematic theology that I adhere to, have issues with that.
Well,
it would be appealing to mystery or whatever, but they don't. That's what I'm saying.
But let me just ask you this. Do you think that there's anything that could have been otherwise? Any fact?
I mean, we had this discussion earlier. Yes, it could have been otherwise, but it wouldn't have been otherwise. I think that was how we were discussing. It's kind of like
that doesn't make sense.
It would have been otherwise, but it wouldn't have been
like
otherwise.
He could have refrained
That
from
actually
murdering,
that's
but
contradictory.
it was the case that he would not.
What does it? Wouldn't there just means that it couldn't have been otherwise? Right?
Coulda, woulda, shoulda.
It's only been one way. What? Something is both contingent and necessary at the same time, according to John Lee. Modal dialectic.
Yeah, I mean, for lack of a better way to express it, the way we understand it is that the agent had a will, a creaturely will. That's what we actually call it. Maybe it's not a philosophical term, but we say they have a creaturely will to either kill or not kill, let's say, and they chose to kill, and it was the case that they would have chosen to kill.
When creaturely will, it's just redundant, right? Because wills are the types of things that certain creatures have, right? So, I mean, what's a non-creaturely will?
I'm just saying that's what they call it. They literally call it creaturely will.
Tony, he's just regurgitating these cope terms that mean nothing.
You're saying what? It's a non-philosophical terminology? I think, like...
No, I'm saying you're just making up a word that means nothing. That's just saying free will.
Actually, the creaturely will is used in churches and theological understanding.
It's
Maybe
a
not in
distinction
philosophy.
without a difference, John. No difference.
So if you're going to tell me what is the philosophical equivalent, I'll just use that term with non-Christians. What is the philosophical equivalent?
Determinism.
John, I had a question. Was your come to Jesus?
You're just saying I did
in a program.
You're just saying, John. This is what you're. John, you're saying. I mean, I'm taking a shit today, but I'm not. What's the difference, right? When you say creaturely will, it's not libertarian free will. What the fuck is that?
Well,
he's on drugs again. He has to be.
I understand. I mean, just from the little I've understood. I mean, from all of the.
Well, he's on drugs again. He has to be.
I understand. I mean, just from the little I've understood. I mean, from all of the.
Well, he's on drugs again. He has to be.
I understand. I mean, just from the little I've understood. Right?
Sorry about
What does compatibilist free will mean to you?
Well, compatibilist free will to me means like that the agent has a will that is compatible with what is determined.
Based?
Is that a wrong definition?
No, you just have the word compatible in the definition.
Is that a wrong?
For compatible.
Oh, okay. So you want me to explain it in a way that doesn't use the word compatible?
It's fine. It's fine. John, this was your worst showing yet, man.
You say that a lot. Maybe there's something going right over my head. But I'll tell you what.
Because it ought to occur.
What I understand theologically, I haven't had to revise anything. I've been discussing this a long time now. When it comes to philosophy, what I do have to revise is my terminology and the way that I express it philosophically to philosophers like yourselves, so that you guys can understand it. That's my challenge.
No, but you realize that the reason why I just say it so often is because it ought to occur, right?
Look, I want to be mean to him, but that was like a rare glimpse of humility from John Lee.
Yeah. I mean, not often do you see that. I mean, he debated Hades' son earlier. I heard he got folded, but I'm not sure that he was humble about it.
He got folded by a 17-year-old and Dan Barker in the same day.
Fucking wrecked.
John, I feel sorry for you. I feel sorry for you in one sense because you're really trying hard here, right? You're really trying hard to like troll around, but on the other hand, I don't feel sorry for you because you just fail miserably every time.
Well, I Interesting the way you say that, because I think a lot of other people are trying to troll, and I think they fail miserably every time.
No, you.
Almost every time.
No, you.
Uno reverse card. Uno reverse.
Got him. He's like an endless deck of reverse cards.
So wait, just to get this clear, John Lee spoke to Hades' son.
Folded like
and
a chair.
Dan Barker.
And Dan Barker.
Folded like a bucket chair.
A cheap chair, a Costco chair.
Yeah, you missed Dan Barker, Billy. He wasn't on for very long, but it was good.
I didn't
I can get his brother in here anytime if you want.
With your son, right? You think I was going to go for your son's jugular, Hades? Come on.
I let him win.
No,
It wasn't like
I let him win.
He had mercy on the pup.
Wait a minute. It's
Come
not
on,
even
man.
like that. I wasn't even trying to win.
Oh, you're just going easy on him. Whatever.
It's not about winning, but I think you were disagreeing with him, right? Obviously.
Well, of course I was disagreeing with him, sure.
Right. And so I think, if you want to replay, anyone can see that he just had better arguments.
John, I mean,
the kid's right, Katie, no doubt about that, okay? But
yeah.
I mean, here's the thing. I was just trying to have a conversation with him, and I thought he was very well
I
adapted.
wonder how Dan would do against someone like Darth, though. Or even J-Rob.
I think it would be kind of like Lawrence Krauss. He's like, you're fucking retarded. His hand waving.
I mean, like, if you wanted like a killer to rip his heart out, I mean, I probably would have been chastised for months.
Look, not every debate has to be like that. The point is, I just think he had a better argument, and he knew what he was talking about, and you weren't really able to refute him.
Well, I don't know about that.
John,
but yeah, he did know what he was talking about.
Right, just like not scream at all, just be nice and polite, which is just like Billy, the way Billy debates.
But you can still win.
Let's go.
Destroyer takes the cake and the icing and the lightning all at once.
That's very, very frightening.
Yeah,
does Destroyer ever win debates, or does he just agree with everything?
He lectures, right? Different. He doesn't debate. He lectures.
How did you say I won? Sorry, how did you say I debated?
It's just a win by default.
Nice.
If you lecture someone, it's just a win by default.
Well, that's not exactly right. Let me explain why. So,
Genius. Jack is somewhere in the middle, I think. He sometimes is abrasive, but sometimes can, be nice.
I appreciate that Jack has zero tolerance for dishonest people. When Jack turns it up, I turn up. I love it.
It is good.
I've never seen anybody that doesn't deserve it get it.
No, there's some theists who they're willing to acknowledge that if their view is contradictory, then they would be prompted to revise their position. But that's not the case with John or Matt Adams. And certainly,
Jack would take a gentle hand with those people, like John Geary. Jack takes a gentle hand with.
Hey, do you know how many times I revised my position on the Trinity, Darth?
Not enough to come to the correct solution.
The same goes for the Incarnation as well. I mean, I was dancing between Apollinarianism and Nestorianism, and I was doing this little balance act. You know how many times I have to revise that?
Well, you said something really weird. You said something a few months ago that the Trinity was outside of the laws of logic, which is just like gibberish.
No, that's not exactly what I said. I said that God transcends logic.
Hey Jane, what did he say?
Well, that's still outside of logic.
Here's the thing. Here's the thing. Okay, you have the laws of identity, right? Now, when it comes to like the models, like various God models, there are several models, right? There's not just one type of Trinity, and with respects to like relative identity, it is not consistent with the classical law of logic, right? And so, in that case, it is not how do you say
that's not true with
that. And so it would be like something maybe invented or discovered or introduced to philosophy to understand the Trinity. Now, it's not without its faults. Don't get me wrong. It's not like something airtight. When you really look at the relative identity in depth, there are dead ends, and so it's just a model that kind of helps to understand what Scripture's saying, basically.
For the record, relative identity does not contradict classical logic. Anyway.
Oh wait, relative identity does not contradict classical laws of logic. Classical identity.
Correct.
Oh. Well,
now
that's
it's going to. Yeah, well, what it's going to be inconsistent with is the indiscernibility of identicals.
Right, Leibniz.
But that's not
what Jake was mentioning.
Yeah, but that's not like a principle of classical logic.
Oh, so even if it violates like Leibniz's law of discernibles, it is still okay.
It's still going to validate classical identity, like for all A equals A.
Interesting. You know what's even more interesting is I've had criticisms with Leibniz's law with Muslims and stuff like that. Now, Io, he sent me something in the back channel, very interesting. He said peer-reviewed papers stating that Leibniz's laws falls apart with complex systems in the natural world. And so I said, well, really? And he says, if that's the case, then it could be the case for your God as well. And so, I thought that was very interesting.
I can't make sense of identity over time absent some sort of relative identity. So, for me, it just seems like it's like I can't make sense of the denial of relative identity. So,
But yeah, this is a particular discussion. Oh my goodness, like 7-8 hours a day.
Oh my 6-7
months, non-stop with the Muslims.
I don't get how you can if you reject classical logic or the indiscernibility of identicals, you can read a sentence from the Bible and come to the conclusion that Jesus would be God. It seems like the logic that you would require to do to read a normal sentence that asserts someone is God just presupposes the indiscernibility of identicals and the laws of logic. Seems like you'd have to reject the premise that you needed to get there, to get your original interpretation in the first place.
That's an interesting comment. This is what I've learned about Christianity.
I wouldn't.
But here's the thing about Christianity. It is such the case that we have faith. It's not like a deductive conclusion, right? It was not like God exists there because of these particular premises. It's that we had faith, and then there's answers in the Bible of what is being explained. And so the funny part about it is, here's the conclusion, find your premises if you're going to use philosophy. So it's almost like a backward way of saying, here's the conclusion that the Bible prescribes, and it doesn't change. This is the conclusion, and then make sense of it by finding premises that fit.
Are you just saying there's no deductive argument that concludes with God, John?
I think that arguments for the existence of God are literally worthless. That's how I look at it.
Have you ever found those premises, John?
We're talking about God.
Have you ever found those premises, John?
For the existence of God, you mean?
Yeah. Or
okay,
anything.
So obviously the Bible's going to say God exists. So God exists is the conclusion, and then you're asking me, do I have various premises that conclude God exists, right? Yeah, I think I have found several. The question is how
fantastic,
how convincing they are. I mean, like if you're talking about like maybe Aquinas' 5 ways, or Anselm's ontological argument, or fine tuning, or tag, or I mean there's a lot, or Kalam. I mean there are lots of arguments at the bottom. It says therefore God exists.
Yeah, none of which you can render, by the way.
I'm sorry, I'm having difficulty listening because I'm moving the mic. Something I can
of course. You have difficulty rendering any one of those.
Well, I don't know about that, but I haven't done it for maybe almost 10 years.
Well, do you have do you have difficulty understanding that you do?
I wouldn't even doubt that I do, because I just simply don't concern myself.
But do you have difficulty doubting that you do?
Do I have difficulty doubting? No, I don't have difficulty doubting that I don't have like ready arguments to do. I'm not practiced at it. I'm not concerned with it. I may know some. I think certainly I could render
but do you have
the syllogisms of most
difficulty
of those
knowing
arguments.
That you don't?
No, I think I can.
I don't can like coherently say that just in virtue of like there's going to be like what it means for something to be a god, like just in a definition, a base concept, and when you start like applying that, like when you didn't know that Jesus the carpenter was God incarnate until you read it in the Bible. Like that required some element of reasoning simply because you.
No, I would say actually quite the opposite. I would say quite the opposite. It would require an element of special revelation according to Scripture, not reason.
Is Jubal Chroma from Discord?
No, I'm not Chroma. I get that all the time, but I'm definitely not Chroma.
Who are you?
You may know me as Charles Martel, Child of Noah, or.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
Yeah, but regarding the reasoning thing...
Yeah, as far as Jesus, it is special revelation. A faith that's given by God, not of ourselves, not our mental faculties, not our reasoning. That's what you suppose. I'm telling you that's not the case.
So you didn't, like, read the Bible to come to the conclusion that
I actually
Jesus was
did.
carpenter?
I became a Christian on my first reading.
Right, but if you did reading, like, in order to read... You had to like do inferences concerning like subject and predicate and the like. You know what I mean?
No. Let me just tell you briefly about my conversion experience. I read the book of John, not Genesis, not Matthew. I just began in the book of John. I'm reading the book. I'm going like, wow, this guy Jesus, he's a really good dude, right? And I'm thinking, as I'm reading along, right around where I get to about chapter 14, I'm thinking, oh wow, this guy Jesus is God, and then boom, I'm a Christian. That's how it began.
Right, but
boom,
like how is that?
And then it became Christian.
That's not really.
Boom, there it is.
Story. Boom, I'm no longer a drug addict. Boom.
More of curiosity,
just like that.
Like, do you acknowledge?
It's not really the whole story. He's leaving out. Well, actually, I'm not exactly sure it's relevant. Charles Martel. But John's leaving out the part where the Bible began to glow and the letters lifted off the pages and swirled around like in The Little Mermaid.
Yeah, and he's not joking.
Yeah, I mean, I could have added that.
Oh, yeah, just slip your mind, John. Slip your mind.
Just conveniently left that out.
Well, as it pertains
it's not important?
as it pertains to the inference issue. Like you understand when you read like a normal sentence. Let's say like a.
Bro, you still want to talk about like grammar when the dude just like told you about the words lifting off the page, swirling around? Seriously?
Yeah, I mean, why not? I mean,
about the swirling around, that's probably your imagination and not what I experienced.
Why didn't you think that part was maybe worth mentioning, John? Why? Why is that?
About the twirling around, it didn't. Oh, why did I?
The Bible glowing and the letters lifting off the pages.
Well, I'll tell you what. Okay. I think it's important for me to tell people that I became a Christian by simply reading Scripture. Now, was there
the glowing Bible and the letters lifting off the page like a Little Mermaid had nothing to do with it? You saw that and was like, oh, that's just a Tuesday.
Yeah, it was definitely something.
So, more convincing to you was when you said, huh, this Jesus is a nice guy. That was more convincing than the glowing Bible and the letters lifting off the pages of the Bible.
No, what I'm saying is that particular.
So the more convincing part you left out.
Well, here's the point, right? As I'm reading, it's not the case that the glowing remains, the letters are lifted, I'm reading lifted letters or anything like that, right? Prior to reading, yes, I did have that type of experience. And I began to read. When I actually began to read, well, the letters were no longer lifted, and nor was it glowing anymore.
I just didn't feel it was necessary to mention it. It's like,
John, I'm really surprised that's not your.
Let me tell you, okay? I have had a few spiritual experiences like that. I don't like to mention any of them to atheists. I mean.
Yeah, but how is that not your thing, John? Why isn't your thing being John Lee, the glowing Bible guy? Why don't you tell that story all the time?
I would mention it to other believers, right?
Can you imagine what else he's leaving out? Maybe we got the truncated version.
I've had quite a bit of spiritual experience. I just don't like talking. I mean, I don't want to be offensive.
Well, tell us another one. Give me another one.
Tell the T-Rex one.
Like I said,
you don't.
But it's like
you don't like to talk about your own testimonial of you finding Christ.
That's how I look at it.
You don't like not something you're really interested in, John.
No,
you don't like it.
Do you see me bragging about the things that I've experienced? Of course not.
Well, why does it have to be bragging? Why does it have to be bragging?
I'm not even happy that I mentioned that. To be honest with you guys, I don't even know.
I think it's because you see it as like it's hard to defend. It sounds wacky, and you're embarrassed. You don't really know what to make of it. Maybe you were just like, I don't know, someone dropped something in your drink. Who knows what you get? Who knows what happened? But I think you find it embarrassing, and you. Oh, well then tell us the whole story, John. Watch you shut the fuck up.
Give him the gospel.
It's just some detail that I didn't think was pertinent to the conversation.
Yeah, why don't you tell us the whole story, John? You're not embarrassed, right?
Well, I could tell you the whole story. I mean,
yeah, go ahead.
I was brought up an atheist. My high school friend, 3 years, I was my best friend. He was a Christian. And I was an atheist. He never preached to me. I couldn't believe 3 years he never preached to me once.
Oh my God.
Day of graduation, he just says, he gives me a study Bible. And he says, this is a graduation gift, right? Oh, cool, thanks. What? So whatever. And I go to college. He goes to Biola University. I go to UC Santa Barbara. And I just had that Bible, lugged it around, apartment to apartment, just sticking, on the bookcase and never read it. And even after I graduated it, I was, working, this and that, and so might have been in a box at one point, whatever. And, I started working, and then I have an apartment at Redondo Beach, and then one day I just decided to read it after dinner, and, got the Bible from the bookcase, brought it to the dinner table, and like Tom said, the Bible glowed, right? Then when I opened it, the letters like lifted up off the page, right? I remembered there was like red and black letters mixed, as I recall. And I began to read the book of John, and then what I just told you a few minutes ago. So is that enough for you, Tom?
I think that's pretty good. Now, there was some additional supplemental material in which you were speculating about the nature of your experience, right?
Yeah, I do recall that I thought I was hallucinating because I've done hallucinogens in my past, and I've watched movies about flashback where the LSD it sticks into your fat, and then when you burn the fat, you get like a trip and stuff like that. So I had done enough LSD in my past to think that was like possible, because like what's going on? What could this be, right? And so I had those type of thoughts, sure, before and even after. And so, is that what you're talking about, Tom?
Yeah. And just one last question. When you finished your dinner reading the Bible and you went to get up, was your lower half turned into a fish like in The Mermaid also, or is that not the case?
What the hell, John?
I might have to plead like a lack of clarity on that point, Tom.
What's the next best spiritual experience story, John?
Oh, there's a few. There's definitely a few. Some good ones.
Let's hear 'em.
What's the next best one?
You're not embarrassed, right, John? Let's hear them all, bud.
Listen.
Look, I'll just save you the trouble. Yes, I want to hear it. Yes, I want to hear it. Yes, it's the case that you're not embarrassed. And then the final question is, yes, go ahead.
No.
Just go ahead.
Embarrassment is not have nothing to do with the reluctance.
I'll start it for you. So, no shit, there I was. That's your cue. Go.
There I was in church, and then,
Yeah, I'll start it off for you. You were thinking about making dinner, and then you looked over to the bookshelf and you saw the glowing cookbook. Go ahead.
No, it was after dinner.
No, this is a different story. I just assumed that the other story is also about a glowing something.
No, I've never experienced anything like that since. And I've been almost 30 years a Christian, so that's a one-time experience.
I'm going to have one request.
Why not?
If any of them have demons, I want that one. But go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, there's some with those types of...
Yeah, let's hear it. Yeah, let's hear it, bud. Like we're all ears.
Things like that, maybe.
They're all ears. And they're not hearing the gospel,
Look, John, I'm not sure what you're failing to understand. I do not want the Cliff Notes version. I want the full Monty, baby, okay? So let's have it. Let's hear it, buddy.
Come on, John.
Yeah, all right. I'll throw a bone. One time, I was at church. This was maybe 5 years into my Christianity, something like that. And so I was attending a full gospel church. Back then, I was not a Calvinist. I was a full gospel, like a Pentecostal type Christian.
What, is that the full gospel business?
So I go there, and this is like some Korean church in Hollywood, a full gospel church, and they had an American section. Now I'm not comfortable with Korean, so they had an English section, which had about only like 20 people in it, right? But the whole church is huge. It's like an auditorium, and so it was in the afternoon, maybe 1 p.m. or something like that. And so I walked in late, and they were all gathered in the first 2 rows, maybe 3 rows, right? And they were singing songs because they were just about to start. Well, I sat down halfway down on the auditorium, and I was singing along and this and that. All of a sudden, I hear behind me like the most beautiful voice I've ever heard, like amazing, right? And when I turned around, there was a girl. I guess she had come after me. Now, she sat down, and she had her hands up in the air, tears in her eyes, and she was singing, I guess. But it wasn't her voice that I heard. It was 2 tall figures, maybe I'd say about 6 foot tall, no wings, white robe. I couldn't really see the face that much, although it seemed very stoic to me. And but the voice was it. It was just like amazing. So I kind of turned around. You know, I like I said, I turned back to look. I saw what I saw, and then I turned around, and all of a sudden I started crying real hard for some reason. And then I think a little bit of time went by. I don't know how much time, maybe a minute, maybe more. And then I turned back to look, and the girl was actually gone. And of course, the angels were no longer there either. So I've had that experience. And I've actually told some people that, and they had almost identical experiences where it's like a stadium or things like that about the voice of the angel. And I think it was just for me, like kind of a thing that, like, even the angels praise God type of thing that I was shown for whatever reason.
Yeah, John, there is a not very well understood phenomenon called people getting up. You ever heard of that?
People getting up? What do you mean?
Yeah, like the idea of it, and I'm not really like very knowledgeable about it, is that people are in one place, and then they go up, they get up, and they go to another place. That's kind of the idea, right? And now, look, I'm not an expert. I'm not an expert, but
no, I've heard of that. I don't know if I believe it.
Yeah, you heard of it? Yeah.
No, I've heard of it. The question is, do I believe it?
The whole people moving around thing.
I'd like to thank you for that story, John, and I also want to ask you, how embarrassing was it when you asked Dan Barker, hey, have you ever heard of the Clergy Project? And he was like, yeah, I was a founder.
That was funny.
Fucking.
Yeah, that was
that was
awkward.
Yeah.
So,
Kind of like dope.
I think Jane has something for us.
Oh.
Jane, are you ready?
Yes. Just 1 second.
Yeah, John, you see, I don't know if you might, maybe you think that people, like, when they sit down at church, they go into like a turret mode and they're just like stationary. Is that what you think?
They're glued to the chair. You know?
Yeah.
Like Triple B put super glue on the pews for them very loudly, as he does, and they just can't get up again.
So you did see two tall robed figures, 6 feet tall.
Yeah, they were pretty tall. I'd say about 6 feet.
That's not that tall, actually. That's like normal human height.
Right.
Possibly taller.
Yeah, that's pretty short to be honest.
Happen to be. Were they?
Oh shit.
Did it try it?
Were they blue? Were they blue and very muscular?
No, they were like white and glowing.
It's funny no one else saw them, John.
Did they come off the page?
Were they sitting or standing?
No, I was sitting at the, if you can imagine,
Were they sitting?
3 sections of an
Were they
auditorium. Huh?
Were they sitting?
Were the angels? No, they were not sitting.
They were standing.
The angels.
They were there was the girl with the, if you can picture a girl with tears in her eyes, hands up during the singing part.
Yeah.
Yeah. Coincidentally, the supposed angel looked exactly like Kathleen, the middle-aged housewife in the choir.
Well, I mean, I'll tell you what.
How come no one else saw them, John? That's my question.
What was that?
How come no one else saw them?
Probably because no one turned around, and maybe the girl didn't even know they were there either. That's
no one turned around.
I genuinely think that the girl didn't even know. I don't think the girl even heard.
Do you think they just
what I was
appeared to you, but no one else?
What was that?
Think they just appeared to you, but no one else?
Yeah, I believe that.
Okay. So they weren't really there then?
Damn, all these experiences. Why haven't you opened a church?
No one to corroborate.
Like, you're the man.
What do you mean all these experiences? You know, I don't have very many, but those are like 20, 25 years into my ago. I don't get those these days.
Yeah.
John, was the when the service was over and you got up to leave, did you realize that you were an angel at that moment?
Well, I'll tell you what, something interesting happened after that, but that's a whole.
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, I can believe it. Go ahead.
Sounds like a hallucination to me. Someone had to say it, right?
Did you check the guest book to see if they signed?
Angel 1 and Angel 2? Was it Gabriel and the one from Lucifer? His name I can't remember. You know, the black one?
Nah, it's probably just a couple.
No, what had happened was he saw Ben Affleck and Matt Damon, and they were just